But you guys definitely check out the link in the description below. Check out Saeed's Substack. Definitely some dope articles. We're going to get into a lot of good stuff today. And first, we might as well start off with my man Zion, man. Zion Williams, man. Come on. Missing the flight. Getting suspended. And it's not really the first coincidence because it seems like it's an ongoing issue. It's not normal for guys to get suspended after missing the first flight, at least. But just real quick, Saeed, before we get to that, I'm just gonna play Coach Willie Green as he was asked about it. You guys check it out.
Is that like you're late once and you're suspended, or is this like has this been a problem with him? He's been warned and you suspended him?
Yeah, there were several occasions that led up to this, and that's how we got to this decision.
Now, right there is a confirmation, just so the audience can know what's going on with the Pelicans, and also Zion Williams actually was kind of tap dancing around. I don't know if he's falling in love with other teams, but he's kind of showing signs that he's out. Here's him talking about other arenas, just playing there, and sort of the love for it or affinity.
Man, I don't have a direct list, but New York. I think Brooklyn is a low-key one that I don't think people appreciate enough. Boston. Who else? Chicago. I like Atlanta. I think they have like a really good, arena, and especially the black culture down there is really big down there. It's a lot of dope arenas out there that they each have their own thing about them. Like for LA would be like the lights. New York, like it feels like the arena's dark but the court lit up. Brooklyn, I love New York music. Like Jay, Big, like and they play that music in there, and you just feel like the aura, the ambiance in there. And Chicago's the Bulls, like, the dynasty they built here. So each of those arenas, and if I'm missing some, I apologize. I feel like I gotta say this because you just never know. New Orleans is obviously my favorite arena to play in. Like, I feel like I have to say, even though I shouldn't have to say that, New Orleans is clearly by far my favorite arena to play in. But as a basketball fan and someone that tries to appreciate the game, arenas do have their certain, appeal to them.
God damn, my man mentioned New York like 3 times. He low-key did when he said New York and then Brooklyn.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but
probably both New Yorks.
Yeah, but both New Yorks is one New York. That's what he means. But he's really trying to get the fuck up out of there, man. Maybe Brooklyn Nets is a destination.
And he wants to go to a big market. Besides Atlanta, all he mentioned was big markets.
Mm-hmm. And then he mentioned New York a 3rd time when he mentioned the music coming out of Brooklyn.
Yeah. It seems like all of these teams are teams he wants to go to, and like pretty clear. I think at the end he just tried to save his ass to avoid a suspension.
Hell yeah, let's not beat around the tush, man. Like it's over, man. It's over.
Yeah, he's done with New Orleans.
Whatever this is, it's over, man. Because we're talking about 6 seasons in, or is this his 5th season? I think 6.
His 6th season. Yeah.
Playing 8 games only this year, and once again, averaging 20 points per game. Nothing crazy. You know what I mean? The rebounding is nothing crazy either. The rebounding and the assist, it's nothing crazy. So they waited 6 years to get 20 points a game. And remember how I said last season was the most that he played. He played 70 games.
No, I disagree, bro. 5 assists is a good number for a power forward, bro.
It's good, but you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about a guy who played 70 games last year and kind of averaged the same thing and didn't even make all NBA 3rd team or even the All-Star. So
yeah. But dude, I don't know, like that. Like, dude, you look at the first two real seasons he had, right? Both times All-Stars, right? And then obviously like injuries and weight issues. I'll give him that, but I wouldn't say like this guy has zero to no value. As a second option, Zion has value. If healthy, he has value as a 2nd or 3rd option.
He definitely does have value. The only thing is, he's complicated to build around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Like some players, like a lot of players have value, but he's slowly falling to that tier where he's valuable, but we're not gonna build around him. He complements someone else. Like
I agree.
he's moved on to that tier now.
He's a guy who can be the second ball handler, more of an off ball guy, to be honest with you. That is the best thing Zion Williamson can be, a guy you throw in the paint. Hopefully he
Mm-hmm.
develops the three, but that's it. Like that's I just view Zion as that. I think health reasons is why you can never make him into a first option.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of fucking up Zion and the Pelicans here is that organization, just that team, they're not the type of franchise that's, forward thinking. They're not
They're not
innovative.
very pivotal.
Yeah, they're not innovative in building a
Yeah.
roster and building a team around a difficult person like Zion, like meaning like his size, his height. He's not really like he's like
Well,
he's a tweener in the forward position. You know what I'm saying? He's not big enough to be a dominant rebounder, but then he doesn't have shot making ability. It's hard to build around him. You got to be innovative, and the Pelicans have never displayed that they're that type of franchise. Never.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. They haven't shown that. I mean, look at the Anthony Davis era. They didn't really show much of a ability to build a team around him. That I agree with. But I think with Zion, right? I think it's more of an environment. Like if you put him in Miami, right? Like there's no doubt like he'll be tough a tough player who can like kind of the Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra will be able to mold him. Or you bring him around Tibbs. I think Tibbs would be able to do a great job in molding him. I just think like three coaches and changing of staff personnel. You move Josh Hart, you move Lonzo Ball, you bring in other like you bring in veterans. 1 year you bring in Jonas and you take him out. Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe. There's not been much of a consistency in his term over there as compared to like let's say John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies or even RG Barrett and the Knicks. He had consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even they did. But the thing is, like Zion, I don't know, man. This thing has run its course, bro, and it's crazy
No, I
because
think he's run his course in New Orleans. Yeah.
it was coming off a high with his return, him being in shape. He had a good showing with Anthony Edwards, but then it's just like, damn, it's another quick low with the
Yeah.
suspension.
That's what I'm saying, right? Is a lack of discipline in Zion Williamson.
Yeah, but it's also hard to tell. Is it him or is it what he's seeing in New Orleans and he's just not giving out the effort?
Yeah, I just think it's a bad culture. Like New Orleans never had a stable culture,
Mm-hmm.
Like look at Anthony Davis, right? I can't say Anthony Davis was a winning player in New Orleans, despite him having moments where he was dominant, like 2018. They just never gave him that real environment of like a championship or a playoff level team. And I think that's where a lot of young players, they get lazy in that kind of, in that kind of like wasteland, Like a lot of players, they don't survive unless they get a coach who can really change things around.
Yeah, so funny. Even DeJounte Murray going down there this season. Yo, he's not really having a good season at all, even scoring wise.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just what it is. Like, bro, when you have a coach, like a lot of these younger guys, they have good coaches. Like I think Chris Finch is a solid coach. Pop, you look at even Jamal Mosley, they're all good coaches. I think with him is just a lack of discipline with bad coaching throughout his term. And he has accountability too with his weight injuries. There's a lot of accountability he needs to take. But I think New Orleans, when you have a young player in 6 years, bro, going through 3 coaches is wild.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely wild. But it's not surprising though, because even decent teams like the Hawks with Trae Young, he's been through multiple coaches.
Yeah. But those coaches, they've shown at least some success. Like Lloyd Pierce was trash. Then you bring in the guy who played, man, what was his name again? Nate McMillan.
Oh, okay, you're talking about him. Okay, I think you're talking about the guy that Oh no, you know what? He left before
No,
Zion
Quinn
got
Snyder.
there. The guy I'm thinking of.
Oh, you're talking about no, he was there for his rookie season. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the guy that didn't want to trade AD.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Alvin Gentry.
Yeah, Alvin Gentry. Yeah, that's
Alvin
that's
Gentry. Then you had Stan Van Gundy for a year. So imagine you go 1 year, and like 2 coaches, and then you get the current coach is okay, but you're just not getting much of a consistent coaching, like a coach who really changes culture. And I think
Mhm.
like the Pistons, they looked into like JB Bickerstaff,
Yeah, they did.
like in
They
that
did.
regard. They looked into that. And I think some coaches overthink their coaching hire. I think some of these guys, like, I get people get frustrated. Oh, why do like some coaches they keep getting jobs? But it makes sense why they keep getting jobs. Like you can't really experiment with younger coaches sometimes. Sometimes they pan out like Oklahoma or Orlando, but a lot of times they don't really pan out to anything.
Okay, speaking of young coaches, now the situation of the Kings is kind of in relation to where you were talking about with just a player or just an older coach not really knowing how to communicate with a younger player. It seems like Mike Brown was trying to motivate De'Aaron Fox, and of course his extension is coming up, and he already kind of rejected it, and the
Yeah.
Kings are probably scared. But Doug Christie seems like he's motivating these guys. So yeah, here's De'Aaron Fox kind of speaking on Mike Brown, and it seems like he has very little sympathy for Mike Brown's firing.
As a player, like when something happens like this, any pressure or guilt you feel when something big happens, like
Pressure or guilt?
like when somebody gets fired, do you feel like from a player standpoint?
I mean, obviously, we all know the job that we have. You can be traded at any point, released, cut, fired, whatever it may be. I mean, I wouldn't use the word guilt, but that's the nature of the job that we have. But I mean, obviously, him signing his extension this summer, we felt like we'd be together, a whole lot longer. But that's the decision that they made. But at the end of the day, too, he's still getting paid. It's a great part of being an NBA player, being an NBA coach is those things can happen, but his contracts are guaranteed. So,
My man De'Aaron Fox found a way to get the blame off of him, because it's like the elephant in the room. Everybody knows, like,
Yeah,
okay,
they scapegoat him.
yeah, like he was trying. Everyone knows down there that Mike Brown was trying to motivate De'Aaron Fox, and now all of a sudden there's a clash, and he's gone. But
I think it was a catch with a lot of personnel. I don't think it's only him.
oh, you don't think it's only him?
Nah, because there was rumors that he wanted to bench DeMar.
Which he's right. He's right for that. He's right for that.
Yeah, but DeMar, you think DeMar would have went to like New Orleans, not New Orleans, Sacramento, if he knew that he'd be coming off the bench?
Yeah, that's something that they should have had discussion about. But again, it's probably a clash between the coach and the owners, because this happened before. This happened with Leon Rose and Tibbs about Cam Reddish.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they shipped him away for Josh Hart, and then we seen how that played out. But Tibbs was right about that, but there clearly was a clash. And the only thing with Sacramento, man, the owner, it just seems like, he has a long history just with that organization, just them not really knowing which way to go. And sometimes, like you said, going back to what you were saying with the coaching issues and some of the players, I think there's a generational shift also, because even Pat Riley kind of spoke about it, where he was like, oh, like this week, Pat Riley went on a press conference with Dan Le Batard, and he kind of like showed the human side of him, because he doesn't want players to think that, Miami's a hard-nosed place where they have very little sympathy for you. You could carry a team like Jimmy Butler to the finals and they'll have no respect for you. So he kind of like humanized himself a little bit, and he admitted that today's players, he can't coach or approach them the same way that he did with players of the past. So
No, he can't, bro. Like, you remember back in the day, the way he was able to trade Shaq? When Shaq became a problem for him, he traded him as soon as possible to Phoenix. You can't do that shit anymore.
yeah, and it's really the approach too, because look at Doug Christie. The Kings, they won 7 in a row. They won quite a few
7 in a row.
Yeah,
so, 7 in a row.
Yeah, so it's definitely a different type of response. You're seeing it, and I think Mike Brown, he's been coaching since 1997. He's been coaching since 97, so he's been in the league for a good minute, and he coached in that era where the coach, the hierarchy, was the coach first, then it was the star, then it was the co-star. But now in today's NBA, it's really the star, co-star, then the coach. That's how the hierarchy goes.
The coach is never going to be prioritized because they're the most expandable one out of everyone else.
Yeah, but I mean, but at the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it went from coach, star, and co-star to now it's star, co-star, then coach. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because of course the coach is gonna have more of a say so than a guy coming off the bench. You know what I mean?
A coach was basically a second general manager at one point.
Yeah, it was a culture back then because you could look at the old coaches that were kind of revered. They were very hard nosed, yelling at their players, and it seems like
Yeah.
that does not work anymore. Like the Bobby
I mean, you
Knights,
remember
that shit does not work anymore. Choking the shit out of
Phil
your
used to
players.
just go to the Phil used to just shit on his players in the media.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he felt Kobe was too selfish, he used to go to the media and like, yeah, Kobe's too fucking selfish.
Yeah, you know what? That's but look at the reaction of Kobe, right? When he said that, Kobe didn't pass the ball during the Phoenix Suns playoff series when he got criticized. And then Kobe also sometimes he responded to Phil by doing exactly what he said, like what he said that he can't do. You know what I mean? Like what did Phil say? Phil said Kobe couldn't post up. He needed a better post up game. Then all of a sudden Kobe started off a season posting up for like the first 2 months, doing nothing but that. You know what I'm saying? But Kobe comes from that era where the coach was the first and primary general. You know what I'm saying? Then until he was about to retire, that's when the league made that transition. Sort of in the middle of it. Like I think the league wait, hold on. I think the league made that transition when LeBron and Wade and Carmelo came into the league. That's when I think that transition happened.
But you also look at the situation with like Pascal Siakam and Nick Nurse a couple seasons ago, where Pascal was taking shots at not Pascal. Nick Nurse was taking shots at Pascal. It became very controversial. Like, oh, what kind of coach this is? This player is out in public.
That's great, and the media too. It's a different generation of beat writers around these players, and a lot of them they have a lot of sympathy for the players. Like, there's almost like no accountability, no motivation. It's almost like the media sometimes they approach the star of the team as if they're perfect, and it's like, yo, he has to level up. Even though he's like the best player on the team, he has to keep leveling up if he wants to get better. But the media sometimes they're like, oh, the coach criticized him. Da-da. It's like, yo, of course, man, he got to get better. He's only like in his 4th year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it's definitely a generational shift among different facets of the NBA that's happening right now. I just think Mike Brown, he's almost like the last of the Mohegans in a way.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that whatever motivation he was trying to give to Fox, it just kind of backfired.
I mean, even Durant, he had a lot of clashes with Kerr, even when Kerr used to give him a lot of shit.
Yeah, Durant is another one. Yeah, Durant is part of that, like Melo, LeBron.
Dwight Howard.
Yeah, he's part of that. You're a rookie. You just came into the league. We instantly give you the keys to the franchise. When you look at guys like Kobe, he got to the Lakers. It was like, yo, you're coming behind Eddie Jones. You have to prove that you're better than him to get the minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it was like that before. Not instantly you're giving all the shots, you're giving all the respect, and all the vets have to listen to you off rip. That's that LeBron, Melo, Kevin Durant type of era. That happened in their era. Yeah, so it's a lot of transitions, but you think the Kings are about to really compete on a high level?
Nah, I mean, dude, they just got to be a playoff team, and I think Fox resigns. Unless Fox decides, like, I want to be like a first or second option somewhere else, because I don't really think Sacramento has a real first option, because I think him and Sabonis get interchanged, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then the DeRozan situation. I mean, let's be realistic. He is nice, but sometimes he's never really been proven to be a winner, and as he ages. And again, this is something the Kings owner should have discussed with DeRozan as a possibility. I don't know how they're not looking down the road. DeRozan is not a young player.
No.
He's not a young player, so I don't know why it was never even in the cards for them to discuss, hey, if you sign here, it's a possibility, maybe not the first year, but the second year, you could be looking at a bench role.
Well, I think every team probably, I think that's probably what stood out for DeRozan anyways. I guarantee every other team probably told him, like, yo, we'll have you come off the bench.
Yeah, because DeRozan is a mid-range assassin, but we just never, even with the
I mean, dude,
Spurs,
he's 35, 36.
and him coming off the bench shouldn't sound crazy.
No, it shouldn't. What wings can he guard? DeRozan was never known as like some great defender.
Yeah, and at the same time, you're looking at the Kings this season. You got Hertier and the other young guy. What's his name?
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray. Yeah, those guys are not shooting lights out.
Those guys are not shooting lights out, and you also don't have perimeter defense.
Yeah, it's a lot of holes, man. This is
Way too many holes.
in a way, the Kings is sort of, man, the way they're running, as far as like their organization, is not far off from the Pelicans, man. Because even the Mike Brown firing, you fired the guy over the phone on the way to the airport.
Yeah.
Don't even have the
Oh
balls
no,
to
dude!
look
You
him
look
in the
at
face.
DeMarcus Cousins. You look at the DeMarcus Cousin term. You look at this term. It hasn't been the brightest. I think the only redeeming part was what Sabonis trade. That's it.
Yeah.
And like Tyrese Halliburton is dropping. That's it. So I think the Sacramento Kings, they have a lot of, like, in the front office ownership is a huge problem for them. And it seemed like they were able to build like a decent culture with the whole beam the light and everyone getting excited. Sabonis is a star. So it was really exciting to watch. But since then, it's been down the drain, which is a shame because I actually like Sacramento fan base.
Yeah, they have a great fan base, but sometimes with that owner, man, it really starts with the owner, man, because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's from top to bottom.
Yeah, let me tell you this quick story, yo. Did you ever hear about the guy that worked in the front office for the Kings that ended up stealing money from the arena?
No, I never heard of this.
So just a quick backstory. There was a guy, he was responsible for getting ads in the arena, right?
Yeah.
Where you see all the advertisements and the billboards and like the graphics, the digital graphics or whatever. So he basically got, he was part of the group that organized the deal with an insurance company to get their name as the arena name, right? So they had to pay, I think it's like a 10-year deal or whatever it was. They had to pay $20 million up front. So what the guy did in the office, he set up a sub bank account called like Sac Kings Inc., but it wasn't part of the Sacramento Kings. They wired him the 20 mil, and he took that money. He had that money transferred into a personal account. Nobody in the Kings organization even noticed it. The guy's plan was to take the money, buy a couple of houses or investments or whatever, and then put the money back, like flip it, take the profit himself and put the money back. He never put the money back. And then like he ended up getting a job with Pat Riley, right? In the Miami Heat. So when he was going down there, he accidentally left the paperwork in his desk. It took a girl that came in behind him. She was just curious. She was like, what is all this paper? What is this bank account? I don't see this bank account on file. And then she just, on her off time, because she was kind of into forensic accounting, she started looking it up and going deeper and deeper into the shit. She's like, what's going on here? Like, we don't have this bank account record. And then she's looking for that $20 million payment. She found out, like, okay, before she worked here, they're supposed to get a $20 million payment up front. She saw it nowhere in the books, and then she brought it up to the people, and then they finally looked into it. And then they realized, yo, they were supposed to get 20 mil. The guy wired it into his own account. Like, that's how reckless it's in there in Sacramento. That even them receiving payments, they don't even keep proper track of, bro. Like, that's how reckless that organization is. Like, there's no company that's supposed to receive $20 million and the money's getting wired to a different account from a personal workers. Like, that sounds crazy, but it is what it is.
Like, now I do wonder what's like their thinking process when they hire personnel, because that is beyond incompetency, bro. That's like, forget the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans look like a fucking normal ass organization compared to that.
Yeah, and that story really went undercovered, man. Like, they because it's embarrassing. It's like, wait a minute, the name of the arena, they sent you payment for the name of the arena, like a bonus, and you did not even receive it. You didn't even check to see if you received it. Like, years went by, nobody noticed, and nobody would have never noticed if the girl just threw away the papers. Nobody would have noticed.
No, 100%, dude. That's just beyond my beyond my thinking, man.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
holy shit. You have
but
an article on that? I actually want to read that.
yeah, you know what? I have it saved somewhere. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
send it
because
to you.
that's something like, bro, that's something a mom and pop business or
Mm-hmm.
like not a multi-billion-dollar, sports team. You wouldn't expect them to have someone like scheming off the top. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's a multi-billion-dollar insurance company, health insurance company. Their name is on the arena right now as we speak. We're talking about
Yeah,
them and the Sacramento Kings. They sent a payment
yeah,
and it ended up being someone's personal account. Someone's like personal, a fake LLC. It was like Sac Kings Inc. And then the girl was like, we don't have a bank account with that. And she was like, where did the money get wired to? She saw all the receipts that the insurance company sent the bonus. And the whole time it went to someone's like personal business account.
yeah.
Like it was crazy, man. But I'm gonna send you that article. It's definitely a dope read. I probably included in the link in the description below, but it really went underreported, man, because it was so embarrassing for the Kings. Very embarrassing.
Yeah, bro. Also, like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the Sacramento Kings, historically, they're just an incompetent organization, and I think credit to the fan base. You know what I mean? Like, the fan base seems to really ride for this team, and it sucks. Like I said, bro, I always enjoy teams like Oklahoma and Sacramento being good, is because you see like how fun the NBA is when these teams are good.
Yeah. Especially that 7-game series with the Warriors, man. That was really good.
And that was fun, dude. They were fun. Like the Sacramento is a fun team. It's not really like the other LA teams where it's just vibrant. It's a bureaucracy city, so
Mhm.
just good to see something going nice for them.
Yeah. But overall, I think it's really the owner. I think it's the owner.
Yeah, I think he's the owner. He's very incompetent, though. He's a sports fan, so I'll give him his flowers where it's due. But as an owner, I think maybe he does a little bit too much, or he's not strict enough. It's one of those two.
Yeah, or maybe he has other ventures. He didn't expect the maintenance level of owning a sports team. Might be that too.
Yeah,
It's just,
because some owners are just rich; they don't give a shit.
yeah,
But like, yeah. So either he doesn't give a shit or he gives too much of a shit. Is like a weird position.
man. To have the name of the arena, to have the payment go to someone else is crazy.
Yeah,
That is
that's
crazy.
incompetent as fuck. Bro, what do you think about like the trade deadline? I know we talked about like Jimmy and Zion potentially being on the move, but like, what about like Nikola Vucevic? That dude's killing it for Chicago, and he's someone I could see being on the move for a lot of teams. And I wrote about it too on my one of my writings about Nikola Vucevic and how I think teams like the Phoenix Suns and Lakers and the Warriors they could really benefit from a player like that.
Yeah, this year's trade deadline has a lot of middle tier guys, but the only thing is that they made the CBA just so restrictive. I don't know how a lot of these teams are gonna get these players off.
Yeah, that is
Um,
true. But he's also on a very affordable contract.
yeah, he is, but look at all the contending teams. They seem to be over. They seem to be over the cap.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, that's what I like. I think teams that are down the middle, they'll have to pull something out to like he makes a team. I think he would make like a team like the Lakers, right? Really stand out. Or even the Warriors who are kind of desperate for like a second option on the offensive end. Because like I was like, you look at it, like this has really been a redeeming year for him. He's made a 13% jump in the 3-point line and 7% jump in the field goal percentage. So there's been a lot of improvement in his game, which like if you're Chicago, you kind of want to move on from a veteran center and try to get something off of him. Michael Porter's a hot one. That's a possibility depending on like Denver from here to February.
yeah, Aiden. I don't see him going anywhere.
Jeremy Grant, I think I could see it, but I think Jeremy Grant every year I'm saying that he's getting traded.
Now, what about Robert Williams in Portland? Is he still
No, he's
injured?
just injury prone. He's always injury
Yeah.
prone. But he's someone I could see a team biting for. Like I wrote about him earlier in the season, but he hasn't really played that many games for someone to like commit. Kuzma is an interesting one. He for whatever reason he didn't want to go to Dallas. So I do wonder who takes a bite for Kuzma. That would be interesting.
Nah, he didn't want to go to Dallas because he wanted to play basketball. He's in Washington. He's getting
Yeah,
paid.
but eventually
no
Washington
pressure.
they have a bunch of young forwards. So
Yeah,
where
they're
does
gonna
that
get
leave
rid of him
Kuzma?
eventually.
He's in his prime. Like he's not. I hope he's not that stupid.
Oh,
Like Kuminga's a possibility depending on package.
yo, they're saying that Goga is a nice little trade piece at 9 million. That's
Yeah,
if
Goga
Orlando
is a
wants
very
to
good
upgrade
center.
like maybe some shooting.
Goga's gonna move one of these big men,
Yo, he's
and
nice,
I'm
man.
leaning towards
He's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm leaning towards Wendell, to be honest with you.
Wendell, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I would say
Wendell's
so
not
too.
available. I
Man,
see. I mean, Dennis Schroeder, I think he's riding it out this season. Gabe Vincent riding it out. Chris Paul's pop. Oh, D'Angelo Russell's for sure getting bought out or traded.
now what about Jeremy Grant? Man, he's constantly always being
He's always
dangled over
there. He's a good
everybody's head.
player. But for whatever reason, either Portland really thinks highly of him, or like, yeah, I just think Portland probably thinks highly of him, or teams aren't interested in Jeremy Grant. And I lean more towards Portland's highly on him, like too high to the point where like teams are like, you know what, like we're good.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, if another team could find some matches.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, depending on like Hornets wanting to pivot, I could see it. Draymond staying. Uh, Denny Avia, I think the Portland player, he's staying for a while. John Collins could be on the move.
Yeah, what about Patrick Williams also from the Bulls?
I could see it, but he just got extended, so I don't know.
Oh, he just got extended?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could end up being good, man. Like he just one of those players that took time from that 2020 draft to develop.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like Chicago has nothing really going for them. I'm surprised Zach LaVine isn't in that conversation. Speaking of Chicago,
yo, that money's too much, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah, teams aren't biting. Teams aren't biting at all, huh?
That money's way too much. Kyle Anderson from the Golden State Warriors. Yo, a lot of teams could use a player like that.
Yeah, but I also think the Warriors could use a player like that if they're trying to look to the playoffs.
Damn, they got him for $8 million. That is a steal.
Steal. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. Thibault, I don't really see value in Thibault outside of defense. Like I don't really see teams biting. I don't think the Warriors are. I don't think Thunder's gonna make anything crazy. Cam Johnson, obviously, I think he could be traded. Wiggins, no. Middleton off the bench at this point, so who knows?
Yo, you know who might end up being traded? Dennis Schroeder, man. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors flip him again because,
dude, who's gonna bite the bullet?
Yeah, he hasn't. That shit hasn't really worked out.
But I honestly think this is probably like his last season in the NBA. I think he's gonna go back to Germany.
You think so? Or you think the business is just too much?
Bro, I mean, dude, like you get traded that many times, and he's gonna have to take a veteran contract. I highly doubt he's staying.
Yeah, it's just.
But it was also a bad trade, man. Like, you know, if he was coming off the bench, I'd get it. But if you're expecting him to be like the second ball handler scorer, you lost the plot.
Yeah, it's just the Warriors style, man. At some point, Steve Kerr, you know, especially after this Curry run, you know, after Curry retires in the future, whatever. What is Steve Kerr's style after that? Like, I've always wondered, what style can he really coach? Because so far it's been a one-trick pony. Because he's been the same way in Phoenix when he designed that Steve Nash team. It's like a run and gun, you know, a bunch of shooters.
Even that was D'Antoni, man.
Yeah, but Steve Kerr was the one that put together that team.
Yeah, for a couple seasons.
Yeah, but that was interesting. Yeah, the way they have what's his name, Dennis Schroeder. He's not a 3-point shooter, man.
Yeah,
Dennis Schroeder, man. Just the 3-point shooting is not it. But yeah, man, there's a lot of interesting names. Of course, Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball's another one. Lonzo, you think so?
Yeah, because you know, Chicago low-key looking to start over.
They should.
Yeah, Chris Middleton.
But their best. I think we can all agree the best guy is like Vucevic if they're gonna move on.
Yeah, the most valuable asset. Yeah, right now, because you know his price tag gone up. The price gone up
and
on him.
He's having one of his better seasons in forever.
Yeah, other than that, it's just a bunch of names. I see guys like CJ McCollum.
Yeah, this trade deadline isn't going to be all that crazy unless Zion or Jimmy's moved.
Yeah, most of the
Or
names
you know
on
what?
here.
Scratch that. Scratch that. Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant
Ooh.
gets moved, then that could be interesting because Phoenix sucks.
Oh my God, that's a whole. Yo, you want to get to that with the
We can.
Suns? What
Yeah,
is
we can.
going on with the Suns, man? Oh my God.
They're trash, bro. They lost to the Hawks tonight.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bro, the thing is that team was forced to make a move. Like Bradley Beal, we can talk, oh, is shit, it's a horrible deal, whatever. And I'll agree with you, right? But I think that Aiden contract got them stuck, and you also had to get rid of Chris Paul. So they kind of had to bite the bullet on that one, right?
They did. There was a lot going on for them. Like,
Yeah.
because their owner came in, he had that Steve Ballmer bug, you know, where he thinks that he could buy a championship team. Then they changed the CBA, and now they're stuck. I think the Bradley Beal was a nail in the coffin for this team.
Yeah, it was either pay Bradley Beal or pay Aiden.
Yeah, and then this Phoenix Suns team, it represents a lot in the NBA. It represents the end of this
new era.
quote unquote big three shit. That shit is over.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
you also
happening
see-
anymore.
You also see like a guy like Nurkic, right? He's not an NBA player anymore.
Ooh. The thing is, it's like the way they're stuck, right? They're stuck because they can't do shit. Like, they're stuck because it's almost like every offseason, this team, they gotta just get veteran minimum player guys. That's it.
Yeah.
And then let's say they sign a guy like Tyus Jones, right, for 1 year. Let's say Tyus Jones had like a breakout season. Next year, even though if they give him like a mid-level deal, they're gonna have to pay the tax on top of that, which makes it seem like they're paying him almost, I don't want to say max money, but they're gonna be paying him almost double his salary. Meanwhile, he's only making one side of his salary, but it's costing the team a lot more, and he's only gonna have like minimum player or just mid-level player stats or effect. So it's like a weird situation they're in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because eventually it's gonna get to some point where they're gonna just have to bail out on the team, because every minimum player or just kind of mid-level player they buy, they gotta pay double the price, because they're paying into the tax. It's almost like what's that player name? Grayson Allen. They gave him a contract, but when you look at how much it cost them to give him that contract, he's technically on their books is like a multi-million-dollar player.
Yeah.
Like, he's on a big salary, but in reality, he's only making like whatever he's making, which is probably like a nice little mid-level contract. They couldn't let him walk away for free, because their only option after that is to get a minimum player, because they're over the cap. So they signed him for about 15 mil a year, 15, and it goes up to 18, 19 mil, right? But in reality, it probably cost them almost 35 mil. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're paying into the tax. You know, Grayson Allen's like, oh, I got 15 mil, 18 mil a year. But in reality, they have it on their books as they're paying him like 35 mil a year. And that's the problem with the Phoenix Suns. That's why they could never get better. And then the same thing would happen for guys like anyone on their team. Tyus Jones, if he gets a brand new deal, it's going to be the same way. They're going to pay a tax on top. So the owner at some point, he's not going to want to do this.
Monte Miller, Tyus Jones.
So just imagine if any one of those guys had a breakout season. The guys on a 1 year deal. So let's say Plumlee somehow had a breakout season, Tyus Jones, right? So Phoenix has the advantage to go over the cap and re-sign these guys, right? So when they do, let's say they re-sign them for 10 mil a year, their owner's really gonna be paying like 25.
Yeah, because he has to pay the tax for the second apron tax, so they're fucked.
Yes, it's not even gonna. Yo, man, it's crazy, bro. It's not gonna work out, bro. And KD at some point, man, like, to me, he wasted, like, once they got the Bradley Beal situation, he was wasting time from that moment.
I just think Phoenix was just desperate. They threw something like Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and Aiden weren't panning out, obviously. and you had to make some move where Aiden wanted to be out, so you get like more salary relief with Nurkic and Chris Paul. You try to flip him for a younger star in Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shit situation.
Yeah, and then Bradley Beal's agent actually had came out and told Brian Windhorst that they're not waiving their trade clause.
Why
They're
would
not
they?
waiving it. And you know, the Suns organization, just like the Wizards, they're gonna apply that pressure because the Wizards kind of forced Beal out. They're gonna apply that
Yeah.
pressure somehow.
Yeah, and I don't know how.
Yo, for a lot of these players like KD, like a lot of the top tier guys going forward, if I was them on you know how they have their team, like the PR person, the stylist or whatever.
Yeah.
If I was those guys, I would hire someone who understands the cap, because I think if KD has someone like that on his team, he would have rejected that Bradley Beal deal. He would have told the Suns
Yeah,
to
I
reject
agree.
that, because that affects his legacy. Like, because he was going after a chip, and it's like now Bradley Beal's on the squad. It's over. That's a nail on the coffin. Like, he's not gonna produce like no $50 million a year player, and you still have no center on the team. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like KD's legacy is pretty much already it's written, man. Like it's just gonna be stats from here. It's gonna be stats from here, because even with the new rules, right? You look at his salary, KD making 51, 54 mil a year. Like, who the fuck can make a trade for a player like that? You have to match the salary. You know what I mean? Like, you would have to match it.
Yeah.
Like, only I would see, like, I could think off the top of my head, the Knicks, if they wanted to trade Karl Anthony Towns and then another player and involve a third team, they could make that trade happen. Like, it would have to be a massive deal like that. Like,
Yeah.
on that level. Like, it's kind of crazy. But then again, you're giving up a lot. KD is what, 36 now? Next season he's gonna be 37. Then a free agent at age 38. It's like, man, he really, man, KD really fucked this up, bro. Ever since he was in Brooklyn, he really fucked up his chances. He really
100%.
he should have just stayed in Brooklyn and traded Kyrie.
I mean, you'd probably be better off for like whatever they got, Dorian Finney-Smith, I guess. No,
Yeah.
you know what? They probably would have got some other point guard. That's interesting. I wouldn't know who they have gotten.
Who, Brooklyn?
Yeah, if they traded Kyrie, kept Kevin Durant, I wonder what they would have done.
I mean, to me, they would have been in position even right now to get a guy like Jimmy Butler. They probably would have.
Yeah, they could have been in a better position to get another star.
Yeah, or even Karl Anthony Towns. Who knows? They could have had KD, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You never know. But KD for sure would have been in a better position to chase after a championship, because we all know he's trying to win one without the Warriors, because now Curry could say, yo, we won one in 2022 with no KD. So we official. It's like Kobe. Kobe won the 2 without Shaq. It meant way more than the other 3. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Because the other 3, he wasn't the main player.
Yeah. And KD still is yearning for that, because when
Steph already got his moments.
Yeah, when Steph got that ring in 2022, all the pressure was on KD.
Yeah, he's not matching that shit, bro. His Jokic, Giannis, is their league now. Tatum.
Yeah, it's like all the pressure was on KD.
I mean, dude, honestly, like, I'm gonna be that guy. Oklahoma, if he wants a home run, if he wants a reunion, whatever, Oklahoma's his best bet. He won't have to be the focal point. He could play off with Shea Gilgeous.
Let's talk about the potential All-Stars, first-time All-Stars for this season.
Tyler Hero is gonna be one.
Nah, potentially.
Yeah, I think Hero's gonna be one. That's gonna be fun. Alfred Şengün is tough because I think Sabonis, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Victor Wembanyama are having a crazy season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Şengün will find himself to be the odd man out.
But he has a lot of votes, though. I tell you that.
Of course, man. Houston's a big market.
Yeah, he has a lot of All-Star votes.
Like as compared to Memphis and other teams, he's gonna get votes.
Yeah, 2 guys to me that really should be at the game is Cade and Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they would be fun. It just the West with the wings, right? Who can we say from the West that wings that are locked in All Stars? Like Kevin's gonna get in probably because of popularity and he has all the numbers, right?
Hmm.
And then I can't. Kawhi is off for the season. They could get in.
Yeah, Kawhi is not gonna qualify to get in
No,
that shit.
Kawhi's not gonna qualify. But I think, I think with Şengün, the Western big men are just too stacked. Sabonis and I think Sabonis and the other guy, Jaren Jackson Jr. will eat the spot.
Yeah, but just going back to the potential first time All Star, of course, Victor
Yeah,
Wembanyama, Evan Mobley, well deserved if he gets
Mobley
in.
would be awesome. I think all
Yeah.
three of them get in. I think Jared also gets in, and Donovan obviously.
Oh yeah, and
Cunningham, he deserves it.
what about Garland?
Garland's, yeah, they could have the Atlanta Hawks honestly,
Yeah, they've
because
been
Garland's
balling
having
out.
another terrific season. I just can't really name guards who deserve it over Garland. I can't really name bigs that deserve it over those two either. Beside obviously Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, and then also guys that like could potentially go in for the first time that are kind of fringe to me, like guys like Jalen Johnson and the Hawks, Josh Hart, Derek White, like those like
Yeah,
kind of like role player guys that are like killing right now.
I am. Norman Powell also fits in that category. I would
Hmm.
like Norman Powell to get in
Oh
because
yeah,
what he's
yeah, he's been
30, he's
killing.
playing in his he's in his prime, so it'd be fun to watch a guy like Norman because these kind of guys, these niche All Star guys,
Hmm.
they play their asses out. Like Chris Middleton made it like 3 times, and I can't lie, he made the All Star very entertaining the 3 times he's made it. So I would welcome like a Norman Powell to make it.
Did
Yeah,
you get to see the actual voting so far by the fans? Now there was a few things that actually was interesting as fuck, man. I'm not gonna lie. LaMelo Ball's popularity, man. Like, let's not cap.
yeah, he's all dude, kids love him.
Yeah, man. Like LaMelo Ball, like can the league even promote a LaMelo Ball, man? Because we seen him turn up, cursing during those interviews. He got the gold grills. I'm not sure if he's the image the league wants, but the fans want what
The
they
kids
want.
like him, bro. The fans love all three Ball brothers for keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the middle one is loved, especially with that whole like song trend he has. Like people love the Ball brothers.
Yo, if the NBA was smart, man, they let Bronny in the league. They might as well get him a contract. This is a hot week to get him a contract. Get him a contract with
Bronny
the
Jr.
Hornets.
or LiAngelo?
LiAngelo, get him a contract with the
Man, I don't
Hornets.
think LiAngelo wants to hoop anymore. You saw he got an $8 million deal from Def Jam.
Yeah, the NBA should have found a way to capitalize. To me, they need to ingratiate their because to me they already exposed that this shit's entertainment. They let Bronny in, so I'm just like,
But
yo,
they let Master P in back in the day.
yeah, but they only let him into training camp. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really
Yeah,
do a whole draft promotion for him. Like that shit is ridiculous. But
yeah.
yeah, like that's good promo for the league too, man. I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
yeah, LaMelo Ball got a shit ton of votes, way more than guys like Anthony Edwards, man. Do you see the Anthony Edwards votes? He is not popular with the
No,
fans
he's
right
not
now.
that popular as compared to LaMelo.
Yo, but you know what's so funny? Anthony Edwards getting primetime slots. He getting the Christmas Day game.
Yeah, he's perfect. He's getting the Sprite commercials.
Yeah, but the league trying to push him into that spot. You know what I'm saying? But he does the same thing as LaMelo Ball with the cursing during the interviews.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He be dropping the N-bombs. He be talking like he's in the barbershop, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I guess they don't find him as cool
yeah,
as compared to LaMelo.
the popularity is just not there, man. LaMelo Ball, yo, Jesus, does he have 2 million more votes than Anthony Edwards?
Bro, but also LaMelo, in fairness, LaMelo became a household name by the age of what, 15?
Yeah, but 2 million more votes, bro. That's almost
Yeah.
crazy.
But dude, look, I'm gonna be honest, LaMelo is more of a household name than a lot of these guys in this list. Like Jalen Brunson, he's more of a household name than even Donovan Mitchell. Anyone besides like Steph and Kevin Durant, LeBron, he's more of a household name than.
Now, my bad. He got 1 million more votes, but yeah, you're right. He is more of
Yeah.
a household name. And speaking
Outside
of
of LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph, yeah.
yeah, and speaking of Brunson, man, did you see Cat has almost 2 million more votes than Brunson? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean that's bound to happen. These are best big men in the league. I mean, not the league, my bad, but in the East.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that stuck out is fucking Ja Morant, man. The votes that he got.
Yeah.
Ja gotta start. He really gotta claim his stake back because, you know, that situation he had with the Instagram that really set him back. It's crazy how that incident and the injury, the season-ending injury that he had, he almost lost 2 years of like relevance.
He lost 2 years, and this year is not. It hasn't really been his team. If I'm gonna keep it real,
It's been whose team?
Jaren
Jackson's.
Yeah, because he's there consistently. He's been the defensive anchor, and they won games.
Yeah, Ja, man.
Ja's been in and out, and like every time I tell like my friends this, they're like, "Oh, dude, you think Jaren?" I'm like, "No, fuck no. Ja's better." But when you look at availability, like Jaren's there, he's winning games. Like that's why I have Jaren as a better player right now. But like, if Memphis has dreams of winning a championship, then obviously, you know, Ja needs to be the best player on the team.
Yeah, Ja really has to step up. To me, he has to stake his claim. And you know how he's gonna do it?
Yeah.
He's gonna have to put LeBron down, bro. Like I've always said, Ja is the one to do it because when he lost that year with the Instagram incidents with the guns, when he lost in the playoffs against LeBron James, that shit was embarrassing, bro.
Not 2022. What was it? 23 when he lost to LeBron.
Yeah, they had no business losing to LeBron like that, bro.
Yeah, that was the year him and Jokic were supposed to go at it.
Yeah, but you know, Ja wasn't focused, and then he got hurt the following season for the rest of the year. It's like, bro,
he played only one game.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like you lost relevance. And look I'm shocked, man. The All-Star voting is, he's popular among the kids, and to get this amount of votes, bro, is crazy.
Devin Booker also throws me off too.
Yeah, but damn, bro, like the Ja votes through is shocking, man. It's real low. He almost has the same amount of votes as De'Aaron Fox.
Wiggins has a lot of international fans for whatever reason. I can't lie to you. 307 is wild.
Yeah, but I bet you a lot of those are like troll votes.
Yeah. Remember when Zaza Pachulia? Remember when Zaza used to win like the All-Star votes?
Yeah. There's definitely a trolling portion of the voting.
Oh man, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I used to put Zaza Pachulia just to fuck around too, man.
Yeah.
I was like 15. I'm like, yeah, I'm voting Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah, but just looking at the votes so far, like, the second fan returns for the votes, the results, it's shocking Anthony Edwards and how low Ja Morant got the voting, man. It's super low, bro.
LeBron and Kevin, you know, Jokic being the most popular. Is it Jokic or?
No, it's Giannis. Giannis got the most.
That's a good sign for the league, then.
Yeah.
At least your current today's star is getting this like much shine, and yeah, like I said, it's a good thing, man. Usually it's like LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph, so it's a good sign that your other players are like at least competing in those votes.
Yeah, SGA getting about 500 more thousand votes than Curry, man, is also a good sign.
That's a good sign. That's a necessary sign. I think. Yeah, like I said, it's a necessary sign. So that's a positive to see in the league. Embiid's obviously gonna get popular votes because he's a popular name. Same with Paul George.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. The fan votes, the league got to pay attention, man, because they need to start promoting some of these guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there seems to be a demand for LaMelo Ball, and the Hornets don't get no ESPN TNT games. There's a disconnect between. We were talking about this last time. There's a disconnect between the television partners in the NBA, man. It's just what they keep choosing is like the same old shit.
They choose the whack shit.
Yeah, like they just keep choosing Embiid, the 76ers. Like they just keep choosing according to market, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of the knock on NBA games.
Yeah, no OKC during Christmas, no Ja Morant. Like it's kind of crazy.
No Bucks.
Yeah, it's like, you know, they're looking, because you know what it is today. Everything is so numbers driven. They're looking at analytics of what could be a guarantee. That's the problem. It's not really looking at analytics. It's looking at analytics with the intention looking for a guarantee.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, people don't tune in. There's so many X amount of fans in the Philly
Well, you have to
market.
make fans give a fuck. Fans are not going to give a fuck if there's nothing in. Like, nobody wants to watch a game where Joel Embiid's not there. But if you put on a game where, like, Bank Hero's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to care because it's like, oh, who's this young kid? They watch, like, oh, this guy's interesting. Whatever. Or Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, Cade got to be in there too, man. Cade got to be in the All-Star game this year.
Cade shows that when the Pistons are good, they're fun.
Yeah, let me see. Did Cade receive a lot of votes? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did a decent amount.
So, decent amount, yeah.
I mean, that is
as much as I expected.
Yeah, he should receive way more than that. But you know what it is? When was the last time the league ever promoted the Pistons?
Yeah, man. When I was 5. But
you know,
also, Poole party. I gotta give Jordan Poole credit for being in the Wizards. 260 is pretty impressive.
Man, I don't know if those are troll votes, man. I'll be honest with you. It's hard to tell.
People like Jordan Poole, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Shit, man. That guy's low lights. That guy's gonna have some of the best low lights of all time, man.
Oh man, but he's having a good season, so I can't shit on him.
Nah, yeah, he's having a good season. But think about it, like when he retires, someone's gonna put together the best Jordan Poole, the funniest Jordan Poole low lights.
Yeah,
that shit's
man,
crazy.
but his low lights are the reason why you won a championship to begin with, man. The confidence on that guy. The Warriors kind of missed that when you look at this team now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, like what's going on with the Warriors now. Like they even with Klay Thompson, they need another shooter.
Yeah, like a guy like Poole is good because, like, in his mind, he's Steph Curry, so you can just give him the ball and you can at least create something, right? You don't have that with this current Warriors. I think they were trying to look at Dennis Schroeder, but Schroeder kind of doesn't know how to play off ball, and he kind of plays within like his own pace, right? And the Warriors don't really play on their own pace because that kind of takes away the off-ball momentum.
Mm-hmm. Now, another subject I want to touch on is some of the worst contracts in the league, man.
Okay, yeah, worst contract. I see Paul George, Sabonis.
Yeah. Some of the worst contracts here, man. That's hard to get out of, man. And to me, the number one that sticks out is the Bradley Beal, no doubt.
No Levine?
Bradley Beal got a no trade clause.
Oh, that's the worst. I agree. But there's no Zach LaVine in this chart?
No Zach LaVine in here because, I guess, Zach LaVine's not in there. But he should be in there, too. But at least Zach LaVine's producing. I don't know if Zach LaVine could even be in here. He's producing for his price point.
So it's like, can't you make an argument Sabonis is producing for his price point?
Sabonis is, but you know what's so funny? The contending teams have not really shown interest in him. Some teams have shown interest in Levine.
Sabonis is a fringe like a fringe regular season player.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Yeah. Contending teams like the Lakers have shown interest on Zach LaVine. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I think Zach LaVine's just a gamble. Like, how many playoffs? This guy's only made 1 playoffs in his entire career.
Yeah, he's still gonna be a gamble. We could put him on this list, but
yeah, because imagine, bro, like this guy has a 10-year career now, bro. Only 1 All-Star game, only 1 like playoff game is crazy.
Now, damn, I didn't even know Kawhi Leonard had 15% trade bonus.
Oh yeah, because recently he signed the extension for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it made sense why they're trying to sell a new stadium, so you need assets in the seats.
Facts. Yeah, Jamal.
Jeremy Grant's wild.
Yo, Jamal Murray's price is well. I want we might as well talk about him because this list is what it is. But
yeah,
Jamal Murray. Yo, the situation with Westbrook is gonna make that Jamal Murray contract seem a little funny in the light because Westbrook, I'm not gonna lie, he's killing it, man. Yo, he's killing it. Like, he's killing it with Jokic being out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Russell Westbrook. This is his best game in since 2019. I like to say, like, where you can see Russell Westbrook fully be himself. Mm-hmm. And I wrote that. I wrote about him a while back. Like when the season started, I wrote about Russell Westbrook's like early season success. So I'm kind of happy. It's like transferring over throughout the season, but
Now,
he's killing it.
now,
Yeah.
now that early season success, that was him kind of starting sometimes, but then playing with the bench unit. It was like a
Yeah.
back and forth. But right now, ever since December 27th, he's been starting consistently, and the Nuggets been 7-3. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when Westbrook plays with the bench unit, this is the conundrum right here. When he's with that bench unit, he struggles, and the bench unit struggles. When he's with the starters, he thrives. Man, fuck it. When he's with Jokic, he thrives. So my thing is like, hey, what the Nuggets are gonna do with Westbrook? Are they gonna make him like a starter going forward, or what's the what's the deal? They're gonna send Christian, to the bench when he really supposed to be the player that they should be
You're
developing
supposed to
for the
replace
future.
KCP. Yeah. Or you got to move Michael Porter for flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can put Jamal. Nah, you can't put Jamal Murray on the bench because the
Bro,
two-man
he's
pick and roll with Jokic is what really gets the whole offense going.
bread and butter. And also, like, his contract does not allow you to put him on the bench, bro.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much money, right? They're gonna be like, hell
Way
no.
too much money. Yeah, what the fuck? The owner's going to be like, what the hell? I didn't pay you for this.
No, but Westbrook has been killing it, boy. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, but Murray, let me see his game log, man. Murray's just been, I don't know. Murray's so up and down. It's like he could turn up. He could have 40, then he could have 7 points.
Yeah.
But he's not bad, but it's almost like you want him to reach another, like a consistent level every night, and it's hard to get that out of him. He puts up like a regular, like an old Paul George numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's nothing crazy, but who knows, man? Maybe the Nuggets don't really need that much out of him because of Jokic. They just need him to be a nice little piece with Jokic. The same way the Knicks they need Towns to really be a nice piece around Brunson to spread the floor. But yeah, Murray, he's like putting up 17 points a game, then he'll have 7, then it's typical 19, 20, then 13, then 16. They'll be like that consistently, then it'll be like 40 points. So it's like you don't really know. And at the same time, remember the Nuggets, they don't have a bench. I think in the past when they had a bench, it helped them out when Murray would have like those roller coaster rides up and down with the numbers.
Oh yeah, you got Bruce Brown. He can really take over the mantle.
Yeah, but yo, let me ask you a question. Do you think Russell Westbrook thriving with Jokic, do you think this makes the Lakers look bad, bro? Because I'm not gonna lie, the Clippers.
It makes the Lakers look horrible because the Clippers they got good out of them too.
Yeah,
the Clippers too.
They made them look serviceable.
Yeah, no, the Lakers, bro. The Lakers, they don't know how to gel players together. If we're keeping it real, outside of like fringe role players, they don't know how to gel LeBron and these guys together.
Yeah, I remember when the narrative used to be like, oh, players love playing with LeBron. But I think playing with LeBron James is a lot harder than what people think it is. And I think now we have enough evidence of players growing frustrated. We have
Bro, this narrative was popular like 2016, but in 2024, I'm gonna be honest, I'd much rather play with the Jokic.
Yeah. But he's
I'd
not
much
easy
rather
to
play with
play
the
with.
Giannis.
But he's not easy to play with. I think that's a narrative that Windhorse used to spread around. But he's not
LeBron's
easy to play with.
No, fuck no.
He's
Bro,
never
the
been
easiest
easy
player
to
to
play
play with. The easiest player to play with in terms of superstar and my lifetime being alive is only Jokic.
Hey, it's not a bad case you're making.
Because Jokic he's the only superstar I could really think of that's passed first.
Yeah, even Giannis is not like that because Dame was like, damn, I'm not used to being off ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Jokic is like really Jokic. You know what it is? Jokic lets the game tell him what to do. You know what I mean?
Well, Jokic isn't pass first either.
Yeah, but it's like Jokic is gonna play according to the game. If he runs pick and roll, the defender hedges, he's gonna bounce it. You know what I mean? Like he's actually playing according to the game. He's not gonna be like, oh, let me come down the court and pull up for 3. Let me see who's open first. Like Jokic is actually looking for what the game is telling him to do. I just think he's just so efficient. Like, if he does pick and roll and he gets to switch with a smaller player, he's gonna drag you down low. Like he reacts to what the game tells him to do. Like that's how he gets his points. Some players, that's not how they get their points. They're like, yo, I'm gonna take this jump shot regardless, coming off.
Or
this pick.
Giannis just needs to like get in the paint and do his thing.
Yeah.
And if you're open, you're open. You know, it's just what it is. Where Jokic is kind of like on top in the post. He's looking to really pass and get guys going, or
More
just
skilled.
really be in a flow. It's kind of a dance with him.
Yeah.
Like a coordinated dance.
Exactly, man. And yo, man, he's making Westbrook look like Westbrook getting triple doubles again.
You know, I'll even argue Kawhi is a lot easier to play with too than LeBron.
Oh yeah, facts.
Yeah, because Kawhi can play off ball. Kawhi can play off ball, so like he's not really demanding the ball like that.
Yep. And you know that's always been the issue with LeBron. It's like he has one play style. It doesn't matter if LeBron had what's the point guard. If LeBron has Stephen Curry on his team, LeBron well that actually might work because Curry is really off ball and he likes to go around those screens. That actually might work. But if LeBron had like another, let's say a Hall of Fame point guard, who can I think of? Let's say if he had Magic on his team. Oh, perfect, Magic. Because Magic wasn't really a shooter like that. If LeBron had Magic Johnson on his team, LeBron would still be bringing the ball up. People don't realize that. Like, that's his play style.
You know, I'd rather I think Chris Paul is a better example you could use.
No, I think Magic is perfect because Magic, we all know he's not a catch and shoot.
Yeah, they're both the same. They're both the same product.
They're the same product, but the only difference is, right? If we told Magic adapt, Magic will be grabbing rebounds. He would be in the post getting hook shots. He'd be getting like
Magic's done it.
Yeah. Magic would have it. Okay, let me put this scenario. If Magic was playing with LeBron in the same team and Magic wasn't bringing up the ball, Magic will have a game with 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and maybe like 7 points. You know what I mean? Like he took like 2 shots, he got 7 points, he got 23 rebounds, and he might have 15 assists. Now if we were actually reverse it and told LeBron to play off ball, how does it look like? Because I'm telling you, the guy does not do it. He's never had to do it. He's never had to do it. Remember, Magic, I think in the finals, he started a game at center, and he dominated. So it's like some of these guys, they evolve a lot different, and their game has always been predicated around a team. LeBron has always been, I'm handling the ball, and then if I drive and I can't drive, I'm gonna kick out to the open shooter because I get double teamed. That's always been his game.
Yeah,
is that he's so dominant in that, but it's like it's really one way, man. It's when you really think about it, it's one way, but it's super gifted because he has like the Luka vision. You know, him, Luka, James Harden, they have that vision on the court. But I don't know, man. Like if LeBron had to play off ball, how does that look like?
LeBron playing off ball would have to be kind of like a Draymond kind of situation, probably a lot better.
That's a good example.
Because I think if LeBron and Draymond were to play together, LeBron has to make off the post. No, I just don't see LeBron taking it up like the top court, and the pacing he kind of plays a lot slower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Steph Curry's kind of more of a fast-paced player.
True, but during the Olympics,
especially playing off ball. Yeah.
But during the Olympics, it was interesting to see Bron kind of play quarterback with Stephen Curry going off those picks.
Yeah, I think that's what LeBron would have to find many ways of playmaking even without the ball, right? So you have to set screens, kind of do the extra work. And LeBron, despite being this big, you know, he never really set screens and like really did the dirty work that's kind of needed.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons, like his play style is one of the reasons why, you know, at the end of the day, when he retires, they're going to look back and say Stephen Curry completely changed the play style during LeBron's, you know, reign as like the face of the league, because the game was, you could make an argument the NBA game was more impacted by Stephen Curry being there while LeBron James was playing. Because look at all the teams now, the 3-point shooting, the play style. It's even LeBron James has adopted Stephen Curry's play style. So it's like with the shooting, and this is something he never had in his bag to begin with until, you know, I would say around 2018, 2018, really, when he had like that breakout efficiency season. Like 2017, 2018, when it was obvious that the game evolved. Like, and that was part of the argument that Shaq was making when he said, is Stephen Curry top 10? And it's like, you look at the impact on the game. It's like, man, he already has the success, but you look at the impact on the game itself. Like, it's we haven't seen this since Jordan. Like, when you think about it, Jordan came into the NBA, all the shooting guards, right? GMs never looked to build a team around a shooting guard. It was always a dominant center. But Jordan changed the game where now GMs were looking to build a team around a guard or wing player.
You look at Kobe, Dwayne. They're products of that. D-Wade, Kobe, they're products of that.
Yo, Paul George, not Paul George. Yeah, Paul George, Paul Pierce. You look at all the generations after Jordan retired, that whole shooting guard, T-Mac, Vince Carter, they all copied him. You know, you saw a wing player taking all the shots, and it's like they didn't really play the ball from the inside out. They played the ball from the outside in. You know what I mean? Like, everything was like jump shooting, guys taking like 20 shots a game. They try to copy Michael Jordan, and the same thing for Stephen Curry. You see the Trae Youngs, all the guys behind Stephen Curry trying to imitate him, the Damian Lillards, and it's like, oh man, Steph really had an impact on the game to a degree that LeBron has never had. And it's gonna be hard to say Stephen Curry ain't top 10. Gonna be very hard for even the old school guys. You know, the guys like Shaq, you know, that probably have like their vision of what a top 10 player is. It's gonna be very hard for them to say Steph ain't in there.
Yeah.
Because they just never seen. Because think about it, he brought something new to the game that people never seen. Everyone behind him imitated him, and he's changed the game, the way it's played, the way GMs even thinking about building a team. Like, he's changed the game the same way Jordan did. Like, it's a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting debate in the sit downs when they have when they do all this after these guys retire. Especially the NBA should do a sit down between LeBron, Steph, and Kevin Durant, because those three guys alone all have impacted each other's career. You can't really tell one of those guys' NBA story without the other. You know what I mean?
No, you can't.
Yeah, they're all intertwined. They're all
because they dominated the whole 2010s. They dominated, right? Like at this point, like they dominated the 2010s up to like what 2012 up to 2019, right? Or 2020, they dominated. Like, sure, we had Kawhi, he shined a little bit, Harden, and whatever. But there's no doubt that Kevin Durant, those three really defined that decade.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yo, also, I want to take a look at some of the. Oh man, this is nasty. It's gonna get nasty. The rookies, and so far, you know, they're sort of, I would say the rookie of the year chase. It's kind of looking nasty, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw Star is the first in place last time I checked.
He probably is, but it's like, you know, wow, if Jared McCain didn't get hurt, it would be him, bro.
He would have been unanimous.
But do you see this chart, man? Like, do you see this? How nasty it is? Everybody, man, do you see how nasty this shit is? Everybody's averaging like 10 points a game, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. But it doesn't mean these guys are bad. It doesn't mean they're
role players.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say, you know, the level of talent in the league, it also displays that too. It's really high because you look at guys like in the Oklahoma City Thunder, AJ Mitchell. I believe he got hurt.
Yeah.
He has a huge impact on that team. And then you look at Messi in New Orleans. He's
killing it.
Yeah, he has a good impact.
But they're not
team.
stars, man.
No,
like,
they're not stars for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys are just role players. Like maybe like McCain could be a star. Who knows? I don't really see it, but I just see them all as role players.
But what about Bub? What about Bub Carrington? I seen him play. Yo, he I think it was against the Knicks. He had one game where he kind of went off, man. I
He's
was like,
crazy.
I could see the potential.
I like him. I also like the Brooklyn kid. I know he's not on the list, but he's also someone I like a lot. There's some guys that I'm like, yeah, they're interesting. I think Ron Holland is a good role player. Dalton Connect, Dalton Connect has his moments of really showing brilliance. Ryan Dunn early on. Tristan Da Silva is a really good role player. I have to give Orlando that.
Yo, but again, a lot of these guys on this list, even though the numbers don't jump out, I think the guy from Philly, he has the most, 15 points a game. Jared McCain, everybody else is like 10, 11 points, 9 points and below. But some of these guys, they're not yet, they're raw. I think that's what I'm getting at. A lot of these guys, I think they're gonna be good. They're just raw. Like Steven Castle in the Spurs. When CP3 is not there anymore and he's used to the NBA schedule and then just the speed of play, I think he's gonna be a monster, man. Same thing for Bub. I think Bub, if the Wizards actually have a direction, I think he's gonna be a nice little Bradley Beal. He might end up being a Bradley Beal type. And the same thing for Ron Holland in Detroit. I don't know what he has. Like he has skill, man. I just don't know. If the Pistons, they're still trying to figure out where to put him at, like how to use him.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's a team with a lot of talent, right? So it's gonna be very difficult to kind of fit him in and figure out what he can do.
Like, cause you also look at a guy like Dyson Daniels, right? I remember listening to him. He said that in New Orleans, he really didn't understand how to be in the NBA. He said he came into the NBA raw. So he said that he came into the NBA, he thought he had to pass the ball, make the right play, and then someone had to pull him aside and say, hey, they selected you 8 overall. You can go eat. Like, you're supposed to be eating. And then he said that, if there's one thing he'll change is that he was really passive when he first came in the league. He didn't know how to operate.
Which player you're talking about?
Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels, yeah. But I also think New Orleans had a lot of chefs in the kitchen, right? And I think when you look at the Atlanta Hawks, there's much more breathing room because Ricochet is not really expected to be a star, right? He's kind of a developing piece.
I would put a pause on that because there's some things about him. I'm like, man, when he bulks up, the skill is there, man. Everything is there. Is that
I'll concede to that. He's a project player, but I'm saying this before the draft. We were told that the best player at its peak would be a Tobias Harris caliber player.
What was Zachary?
No, with this whole draft, they said that at peak they'd be a Tobias level player. Like that is like I don't know which prospect they were talking about, but they weren't getting like Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Wembanyama hype.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, because I think this it was already accepted that this draft is a lot weaker. So I think it's not really a surprise that this draft is weak. I think we're gonna get a lot of solid long-term role players out of this draft, and I think it's fine. It happens once in a while, maybe like 1 or 2 all-stars. Like I think it's like 2014 where, in 2014 we didn't have like that draft was supposed to Anthony Bennett draft.
I think 2013, the one with Drake.
2013 draft. Yeah. That's one of the weakest draft, right? But we got gems, like Oladipo became an all-star. Giannis is the greatest player I ever watched, one of the greatest, top 15 player of all time. So what I mean is maybe this could be one of those drafts, but other than that, like it might just be like another draft, like nothing that significant, but we could get like a couple of cool players, like I said, Victor Wembanyama, CJ McCollum, obviously Giannis and Gobert.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these guys that got drafted, if you would told me some of these guys would be out the league after like 4 years, I'd be shocked. Because these guys have the talent.
Yeah, these guys have the talent
to have like 10-year plus careers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't really see like
star level.
I don't see us talking of like star level. I don't really see that. But I think
I agree. Yeah. Right now, the star level is not there. Maybe for Zachary, I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up getting there. But
him and Sar are the most project players on this draft.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. But when you look at
'Cause I
Steven
think
Castle, I see him as a lockdown defender.
so I see him as a really good player.
Yeah.
I honestly do see him as like maybe that Victor, not Victor Oladipo, CJ McCollum of, oh yeah, these guys are really good players on a weak draft.
Yeah, the Spurs
Yeah.
got something with him because I
Yeah.
see what San Antonio's doing with the way
Yeah.
they're getting play. They're developing a very defensive team, a very lanky defensive team around Wemby. Like that shit is gonna be.
Yeah.
They're gonna suffocate teams when
No, it's gonna be fun.
yeah, it's gonna be real interesting with the Spurs. But like you said, there's nobody really that's gonna pop off as like being a 1A guy, but they have, man, it's crazy. I don't know if the league right now is just getting a lot of raw talent that's just
Yeah.
very raw. You know what I mean? It's just very raw, man. Like these guys, they have the talent.
I'm
but
gonna
it's
be
just
honest. I
like-
think these guys come in much more ready.
I don't think so.
Bro, I look at Orlando Magic. I was watching Tristan Silva play. He's inserted into the starting lineup. He does a solid job.
You know what? It could just be this draft class, man. Yeah, maybe you're right. These guys, I'm just realizing, yeah, like you said, they're solid, but it takes really one draft class to change like a whole league. Like for the, I think I could say the 2003 NBA draft, I could say the 1996 NBA draft.
Yeah,
That's when it had all those players. It just takes, the NBA just needs one good draft class. And
they
it
need a
will
one
change,
generational draft class.
yeah, it will just change everybody's perspective on who's a star in the league and is the league in a good position, etc.
I'm gonna be honest. I think in terms of young star, I don't really like. I think the league is in a great spot.
I would say the league is in a good spot for balanced competition. Like everyone, like there's no bums. There's no one like really coming off the bench and bumming it.
I mean, how many years has it been since we've seen a bust? Like Scoot Henderson is like yet to be determined, but we cannot like Jabari Smith Jr. Like I know I had harsh criticisms, but I cannot say he's a bum.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, like the Anthony Bennett's. Yeah, you're right. It's been a minute, but I would say today, right? If you were like a Kobe Bryant, a Michael Jordan, a Hakeem Olajuwon, a Shaq,
Yeah.
You probably would have to be a Shaq in today's NBA to dominate the league. I feel like the talent level is just too high. You have too many Dyson Daniels hanging out there. You have too many, like, man, it's too many guys, man, that could just come out of nowhere and just shoot the lights out. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, like, 1 through 14 players, man. It's just,
All of them could play,
yeah, man, it's tough, bro. Like these guys don't have to average even 20 points a game. You got a guy coming off the bench who could drop like 20 out of nowhere, and it's like you have 2 or 3 guys that can do that, and they could play defense, and they could handle the ball. Like this is different. This is a different league, man. This is a different league. Like what Kobe played with, like the Smush Parkers, the just the random guys that were gonna get like 5 points a game and like 2 assists and 3 rebounds. Like the NBA is not really like that no more. It's like all these guys can average like 10 plus points, good defense, good 3-point shooting. This is really different. Like you got to be a hell of a player to dominate year in, year out. I'm talking about like win 3-peats, win consistent, make final, make
bro,
the
we're
finals
not getting 3-peats
consistently.
in a while, bro. We're not getting 3-peats anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't see it. Like I think Miami and Golden State had a chance, but now I don't see it. Bro, we're barely getting back-to-backs.
Yeah, like I said, you gotta be one hell of a player to get through all this.
Yeah. Like even Jason Tatum, if he goes back-to-back, right? The narrative is gonna be, oh, did he win a Finals MVP for either of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember in the early 2010s, right? They had a bunch of guards that was like 35 years old plus, still starting in the NBA. I feel like a lot
Raymond
of those guys,
Felton.
a lot of those guys couldn't start today. Like
Yeah,
look at Jason Terry. Like, look how long he played. Like, you could really have a 35-year-old wing player keeping up. In today's league, it's just like so spread out.
The league's gotten younger. I think I think just not only the league gotten younger, I think development has taken a lot much faster. And I
Mhm.
think one thing I've kind of seen an interesting trend of is players aren't wanting dunning anymore. Like people, I think players have figured out their roles coming into the league, and you don't see really one and done guys anymore. Like I think Obi Toppin for the Knicks, he wasn't a one and done player, but he was able to kind of figure himself out in the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
it's just
so I
it's
think a lot of people's approach to the game is a lot different, where they're like, you know what, like maybe I should take another year of NCAA basketball and see what I can do from here.
another year of
Yeah.
NCAA basketball. Now, did you see Kim Whitmore, man, in the Houston Rockets? Because we were talking about this earlier, how they're so crowded on that team that guys
Yeah.
like Jabari Smith, he's barely having any minutes to play, man, on this crowded team, and he's a good player. But Cam Whitmore, man, he made a little comeback because they sent him to the G League, and he kind of did his thing. But NBA legend, man, Ron Harper, he kind of called him out on Twitter for kind of being selfish. Yeah, so Ron Harper actually said, today's players are all about me and not about the teams. Go back to the old days and trade players to the worst teams in the league. So he kind of sent shots on Cam Whitmore's way. Cam Whitmore, he actually walked off the court into the locker room, and after the Rockets won it, and he did not even celebrate with the squad. He had 17 points in 18 minutes, 6 of 8
I think
shooting.
the grievance with him, I assume, is a lack of consistent playing time.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
killing it too in that game. Like 18 minutes, you dropped 17 points, only missed 2 shots. Like Ron Harper just making that tweet. That's all he said. I'm pretty sure he was talking about Cam Whitmore. He said today's
No.
players are all about me and not about the teams. We need to go back to the old days and trade players to the worst teams in the league.
I think that's be good. I think that's good for Cam Whitmore, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna keep it real, maybe like Brooklyn or teams that kind of can let him play basketball, he'd enjoy it.
yeah. I mean, Whitmore is kind of going through it with the Rockets, man. But this is another
Yeah.
problem that we're gonna have
But
in
dude,
the
we forget
league.
these guys are kids, man. Like,
No, it's not even
the,
that. But like, think
yeah.
about it. We were talking about this earlier. How the rookie class is kind of balanced. There's a lot of guys who can affect games. They can come in.
Yeah.
They're kind of more professionalized. They're kind of more structured and balanced. The league is like this now. There is no coming in. I'm gonna get the Jalen Green treatment for 2 seasons just to do me.
Yeah.
There's not too many teams right now we could say where a young draft pick could come in and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna score a bunch of points," and then they're gonna let me take all the shots. It's a complete different league right now, and
Yeah.
I think Cam Whitmore is just he needs to get adjusted to it. There's a bunch of guys who could average 30 a night, or even like 20 a night, and they're sitting on the bench. They're playing like
Yeah.
16 minutes.
That's just how the league is, bro. I think, especially young talent, right? Young teams. I'm looking at the Magic. I'm looking at kind of the Magic in Oklahoma and Houston. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, these are like the best young teams that NBA could offer, right? And I'm just thinking, I'm like, dude, where do you put these guys? Like, at some point, you kind of have to think that. Even the Pistons, there's times where I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, where do you put a lot of these guys?
Facts. Like, and it might be too many guys at the same time.
Yeah.
It might be too many guys because it's just how the landscape is like. Because they used to have enforcers. The NBA just used to have a bunch of brolic guys who were just athletic, and they just had to come in and just collect fouls.
Yeah, those days are kind of like gone at this point. I think now the league has been much more of a stretch league. Like I think power forwards have much more of a role now instead of being enforcers.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I gotta give credit, like that's Barkley's doing. To be honest with you, um, I gotta give credit to Barkley, Malone. They kind of changed that a big time for the power forward position, and Dirk, Tim, and Kevin Garnett, they elevated it.
Yeah, they did, and now you see guys like Evan Mobley. He kind of struggled in the beginning, and now he's bringing up the ball. He's their playmaker. It's just a different era, man. Nowadays, it's just a complete different era. I feel like sometimes the old school guys, they just have to accept like the everything evolves.
Yeah.
But this is the me era at the same time too. I think social media has something to do with it too, because at least those guys, if they weren't starting or they thought that they should get more minutes, at least they might have to answer questions in the media. But other than that, they went home. The TVs were off. Now these guys, the fucking device in their hands is on 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's gonna be asking, like, they didn't have to deal with the fans 24/7 on the social media. Like, they make a regular post, saying, yo, how come you didn't get any minutes, man? You should be getting more minutes. I feel like Cam might have more noise in his ear.
Oh, 100, bro. I mean, dude, like you said, going on social media, you'll see discussions that Cam Whitmore's playing minutes or whatever, despite the Rockets winning. And the Rockets, there's so many minutes you can give to your players.
It's so funny, speaking about adaptations, man. The media had asked SGA, and the media is obsessed with fucking large markets, man. They've
No, dude,
actually asked him
they'll never
about,
give that shit up.
huh?
They'll never give that shit up. Imagine being the first seed and the first one of the questions you're asked throughout the season is,
Yeah,
"Hey, are you interested in going to the Lakers or going to the Clippers?"
yeah. It's like it's an obsession that the
Yeah.
media just hasn't let
Yeah.
go yet, man. Not realizing these guys got to uproot their lives and kind of start over in a way. But they asked SGA about, does he feel like he needs to play like in a bigger market, which is ridiculous, because he kind of has everything he needs right now in Oklahoma City. But SGA kind of gave an interesting response, and I think organizations like the Lakers should pay close attention.
I'm down. He played a lot before he signed his extension this summer. There was a lot of talk about, if he had one foot out the door going to New York. It seems like there's a sold way of thinking that, every small market star is going to bail at the first sign of trouble to a bigger city. So I want to ask you, Shay.
That's a you question.
Do you think, not like, I'm not going to ask you. Do small market stars, do star players still need market size, or does that still matter?
So, me personally, because I can only speak for myself, I love Oklahoma City, and I can't see a world where I'm not in Oklahoma City. Market, no market, I don't care. I love where I am. I'm comfortable where I am. I love the people in the organization, the people around me, and those are the things that matter. I go to work every day with a smile on my face. Me personally, the market doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter to a certain extent. But as long as I enjoy what I'm doing at a very high level, love the people that I'm around doing it, market doesn't matter to me.
Do you think, the whole idea was markets make stars? It seems like because the internet is shrinking the world, that stars can pop up anywhere. What do you think of that notion?
Yeah, the internet does make it easier for people to be seen. Now, I can only speak for myself, and I play this game to win championships, and that journey is all that I care about. The coverage I get, I can't control. The ranking I get, I can't control. I can just be the best version of myself for my team to win a championship and have fun doing it every day, and that's what really matters to me in playing basketball. And as long as I have that, I'll be okay regardless of where I am.
Yo, Lakers better be paying attention, man, because I don't know.
Yeah,
them days about just going
big
to
players
LA
don't care
just to
about big
go.
markets. They care about opportunity. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a well-run franchise. It makes sense why. It makes sense why Shea would want to leave. And he's getting like the Converse ads. He's getting everything he needs, anyways. Like in terms of like outside revenue of basketball.
And he's getting the visibility regardless.
Yeah.
He just needs a couple of viral clips. Even his captions. He's in Oklahoma City, and his Instagram captions are going viral in the NBA social media universe. From time to
Yeah,
time.
dude, it's fashion and shit that's popular within the kids and all that stuff.
Now, does this hurt franchises like the Lakers?
100%. I'm gonna be honest. Even the Clippers hurt the Lakers. To be honest, bro, that new stadium that the Clippers have.
Hmm.
I was watching wrestling, bro, and that stadium is amazing. Like just performing in that stadium, I'd imagine like I'd much rather want to play there than anywhere else.
It makes sense, but the Clippers, they kind of still have an advantage of being a big market. But it's interesting because we're seeing that there is still a disconnect, right? Look at the Christmas Day games. Small market Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, popular
Yeah,
with the youth. And when I say the youth, I mean like kids that are anywhere from 8 years old to like 15. Because that's the demographic the NBA is really struggling to get. That's, Ja Morant, that situation, they didn't put him on Christmas. Again, SGA, real popular with the youth. Even kids beyond 15, all the way up until, I would say, from like ages 9 to like all the way to like even 40. So his social media, his clothes, his style, his fashion, they didn't put him on Christmas. I believe there's a disconnect with the national media because most of them are coastal. New York,
yeah,
Boston, Los Angeles. There's a disconnect with, hey, we're not covering these guys as much. Oh, we don't want to put them on national TV because they're not New York, LA, or Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like they think the smaller market teams are like a farm system for these places. Well, when at the same time the internet has kind of made, all this flat. I don't want to say the internet. Yeah, internet in a way has made the world flat.
yeah, 100%. Now it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Like
matter to an
you
extent.
could be from Nebraska, and if you got in a mainstream appeal, you'll be famous. You don't need to move to LA, and unless obviously Hollywood or Broadway, you don't really need to move in order to be famous.
The only person I think Jeannie Buss has not adapted to this.
Yeah, Jeannie Buss hasn't adopted. She's kind of an old school owner.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, we're LA. Who doesn't want to come to LA? And I'm just thinking
Yeah,
like,
no, it doesn't matter anymore. When your front office is ran by Kurt Rambis, it doesn't matter anymore.
yeah,
Rob Pelinka, who cares?
also when every team is rich,
Yeah,
every NBA team is rich. Like especially the way they're gonna do things now, which is kind of more NFL with the new TV deal. They kind of structured everything so everyone is eating almost the same pie out of the revenue.
yeah,
What happens when the NBA goes the NFL model route, where you see even like what the NFL, they can have a team like the Cincinnati Bengals go to the Super Bowl. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, so it doesn't matter. Like people, that's a good thing I would say about the NFL. People tune in for like a Bengals versus a Browns game on Monday night.
Baltimore's one of the biggest team ever.
Facts. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like people like the product. I feel like it's like the media's kind of adapting to the shift because they have no problem covering the NFL like that. They'll cover a Browns game on Monday night as if it's the biggest thing in the world. But when it comes to the NBA, they'll look at the Cleveland and be like, "Oh,
who cares?
no, no." They'll be like, do you guys think you need to go to a big market?" So it's like, why all of a sudden there's a switch?
Donovan, New York. you know?
Yeah, all these rumors that we seen
Yeah,
was sort of a narrative that was created by them.
yeah,
Donovan Mitchell was never going to New York. Paul George chose OKC over the Lakers. Kawhi skipped the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been a lot of
yeah.
shifts
DeRozan went
going
to
on.
two other teams. DeRozan went he re-signed with the Toronto Raptors instead of going with the Lakers.
Yeah.
During like what 2014, not 2014, like 2016. I forgot what year exactly.
Yeah, LaMarcus.
Carmelo Anthony skipped. Carmelo Anthony re-signed with the Knicks. There's a lot of cases you could bring up.
Well, yeah, that doesn't count because that was already a big market. But one case I'll
Yeah,
bring up is LaMarcus Aldridge choosing San
LaMarcus
Antonio
Aldridge.
over the Lakers.
But Kevin Love also picked Cleveland over the Lakers. But then again, LeBron James was playing there, so
True.
it's kind of a, like, all right, yeah,
But
that's
but
easy.
but there is a level of adaptation that hasn't really quite sunken in yet
Yeah,
with the media. They just haven't really adapted yet.
media, maybe some organizations. I think Dolan's accepted it, so credit to Dolan. He'd be the last person I'd assume that would realize, like, yo, I can't be. We can't sell New York to be what we wanted to be at this point. We have to actually put a winning product out there. And it took Dolan a long time to kind of figure that out because he brought Melo and he kind of hoped everyone else would follow suit and play for the Knicks. It didn't work out that way.
Nope. And then also look at LaMelo Ball. He's out in Charlotte. They don't put him on national TV, and he has yet.
And they're not a great team either.
Yeah, and then yet he has one. He's one of the top All-Star people to get votes.
Exactly.
More than Anthony Edwards. More than what's his name? Also, he got more than Anthony Edwards. More than another popular player they love to promote. More than John Morant.
John Morant. But even Ja, they're more hesitant to promote now.
They're more hesitant to promote, but that never stopped the fans from voting. Like Allen Iverson, they were always hesitant to promote him, but the fans wanted to see him.
But Allen was kind of a different discussion, right? I think the NBA just they wanted to be much more of a, in their mind, like much more like they didn't really view Allen Iverson as a friendly image because of negative stereotypes of the time. But I think with Allen Iverson, with John Morant, is more to do with actions. I think Allen Iverson is more to do with ignorance because you can't really pinpoint of extremely controversial Allen Iverson moments outside of him being emotional towards journalists. Like, who gives a shit?
True. The only thing is that never stopped the fans from messing with that player.
Yeah.
Like, even though the fans knew that they weren't going to promote Allen Iverson like that. The fans knew it, but they still messed with him. But that's the thing
they forced the league to promote him, though. Like, that's the difference. Forced him to put in NBA covers, made him the highest selling, jerseys, all that stuff,
Yeah, but that wasn't in the league's doing. Like, we could tell when a player has backing behind them.
Yeah.
AI never really had that backing behind him like that from the NBA side.
Neither did Kobe up until the last two championships.
No, Kobe did. Kobe did.
No, man.
No, he did. No.
Kobe had that case, so they're more
this is before the case. People forgot.
Oh no, before the case, yeah, of course, because I remember the '64 commercials. But I'm talking about Kobe at his peak. They were much more hesitant after the cases.
No, yeah, after the cases, facts. But
because they were much more like, oh, LeBron, Carmelo, we got new toys.
Yeah, but before the case, they pushed him way more than Allen Iverson.
Yeah, I agree.
Kobe was very heavy. Very heavy.
Because he was a friendly face, and the Lakers are, a championship team. Yeah, that I agree with. But I'm talking Kobe, Kobe up until 2005, up until 2010. It took the league to finally league was kind of forced to promote Kobe, and Kobe had to do a whole image change with the whole jersey number and Black Mamba and kind of bring in a whole different persona.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough times, but there's always been a disconnect, and I feel like sometimes there's always been a disconnect, and like we were saying before, with LaMelo having all those All-Star votes, but yet we see Anthony Edwards being put into primetime slots and Christmas, constantly on TNT. There's definitely a disconnect. There's definitely a disconnect from time to time. And I think the whole small market thing, if the media actually opens up their eyes, they'll see how is LaMelo Ball getting all these votes? The NBA doesn't even market him like that.
I mean, dude, look at even Banchero. He only played 5 games. He got what? He got 788,000 votes. That's impressive. Yeah. Only played 5 games too. Yeah.
That's gonna be another difficulty for the media, is how to promote some of these upcoming teams. The Cavs, the Orlando Magic, the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the first time where I think the NBA in its whole history, as far as the media, had to promote small market teams. I think the NFL, they already have a blueprint of doing it. They've done it for the Super Bowl.
They're brilliant at it. I think the NBA is kind of stuck. They're not baseball level bad with it, but they're getting up there.
Man, they don't know how to promote unless it's Chicago, LA, Detroit, New York, or one of the big kind of city teams. They don't know how to promote.
Houston, Dallas, yeah.
Imagine if the Cavs and the Oklahoma City Thunder make the finals.
No, they don't know what to do. Bro, they barely knew what to do when Denver made the finals.
But we've seen that it works.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
because what the game between the first game between Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cavs, it got some of the highest ratings of the whole season.
And it was a very fun game. Darius Garland was incredible.
But the thing is, how I think what they're struggling with is how to market that. I think they need to market the teams. It's gonna be interesting, the NBA going into streaming. I'm wondering how they're gonna advertise all these things while at the same time it's hard to find the games. It's gonna be harder to find the games online. You got it, because one night you have to log into NBC, then Amazon, then ESPN. It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Just to watch an NBA game, that's a lot. But
Yeah, there's no more local channel games, no?
It depends what market you're in. I think the Suns have it, and the Utah Jazz have it. I think the Dallas Mavericks have it, but it's not every market. It's not every market.
I love watching Banchero play basketball, and I'm kind of happy that he's back.
Man, he's back, and I'm telling you, when Franz come back, it's
they're dangerous.
It's like the Magic are just like the Oklahoma City Thunder in a way. They have all these guys coming off the bench, all this length, all this size.
Yeah.
You know, it's man, it's like, yo, this is real tough. And we've seen teams, you know, like the Knicks, they struggle against teams that are built like this. All these top heavy teams.
Big. Orlando's big. Like Jonathan Isaac, Goga, Wendell Carter. Franz and Paulo they're not like great defenders, but they're solid defenders. So they just their size, and Tristan Da Silva and Jet Howard, they're just a big team. Even Anthony Black, their backup guard, he's big. So that team just has a great like offense and defensive ratio. I think offense. Let's see what moves they make, but when it comes to the defensive end, they're tough.
Yeah, I feel like the small market teams like Orlando, Oklahoma City Thunder, they took a different team building route. They took the more like, okay, we're gonna have a deep team, because you know sometimes the smaller market teams, because they don't have as much money, I think they planned ahead for the new CBA, while the richer owners like the Phoenix Suns, even the Knicks to a degree, with the way they got their team kind of constructed now, it's very top heavy. You're paying OG a lot of money. You're paying Towns heavy money. You're paying Brunson,
Mikal, obviously.
You know, Mikal and Brunson. So it's very top heavy. But the smaller market teams, I think they looked ahead at the new CBA and they designed their teams kind of, you know, flat. Because Orlando, they got Jonathan Isaac coming off the bench on a good contract. They got KCP on a decent contract. They got, you know, all these like young draft picks like Black. You know, they got all these guys, Cole Anthony. And it's like, damn, bro, they kind of like, their team is very deep. And it's going to be very hard for these top heavy teams like the Knicks, the Phoenix Suns. It's going to be very hard for them to stay healthy for a whole year and then compete with a whole team by the time they hit the playoffs that got like running like a 10-man rotation. That's what's happening right now. They're running like a 10-man rotation, and some of these teams are playing with like 6 guys, 8 guys. This is brand new. We've never really seen it play out like this before. And so the Cavs,
even the Rockets, Pistons are deep.
There's multiple teams. I'm about to get them to them right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers are built like this. They got a bunch of role players that are impacting the game. The Boston Celtics, to a degree, they're built the same way.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me finish. There's a couple of teams here. The Atlanta Hawks are slowly working their way to being that type of team with the way they've constructed this roster right now. The Detroit Pistons are on their way of doing that also. The Houston Rockets, like you were saying, the Houston Rockets are deep, and it's almost like the Mavericks in a way. The way you could tell they attacked this offseason, they sort of picked up that vibe. Like, yo, we have to get a deeper team. We have to get more guys in here. Let's get Najee Marshall. Let's get guys who can contribute. Let's get Clay on that good deal. You know, he's like on a good mid-level deal. They're making their teams deeper. And same thing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, before they traded Towns, they had a deep team. So them and Oklahoma City Thunder, they finished at the top of the West last year. And that's how Jokic ended up getting eliminated. He ran out of gas. There's like a lot of... it's almost like a new formula we're seeing in the NBA that's happening slowly, and it's really having a deep, serviceable team. Like you have your star, you kind of have your co-star, but you have like a bunch of guys in case injuries happen, etc.
I just think like the teams now, the way they view basketball, right? Especially these small market franchises like Atlanta and Orlando. It's you can't rush building a team at this point. I think like when you're those organizations, you're never really getting major teams to. You're never getting major players like Orlando. Let's be honest, they never really attracted a free agent throughout their history, right? Same with the Hawks. So you have to make do of what you can. You have to make do of what you can, and I think these guys they've stretched it to where there's more flexibility. Let's say tomorrow France and Paulo don't work out, they still have the flexibility of moving on and building on from there.
Yeah, and it's almost like the CBA also is working in the small market team's favor. You know, like you
Yeah,
said, the teams that were regulated to build a team that type of way. Now
yeah,
that's like the best way to operate with these new rules.
yeah.
Because again, Houston, you look at Detroit, the way they're building their team out. Orlando, you know, Boston, and Cleveland is like well, I would say Boston really is where you want to get at. You want to get a good co-star, a
Yeah,
decent serviceable star, and then you have a bunch of guys around it. But
yeah.
Cleveland, low key, quiet as kept, yo, they sort of built their team like this too.
Yeah, but they're mixed, right? I think like Struz and like Max Struz and Niang, those guys kind of bring that veteran flavor that the team needs. But overall, they done a good job in kind of getting G League guys, Sam Merrill, and who else am I thinking of? Sam Merrill and something Jones, I believe he's on the team.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. They have a lot of serviceable players, and also
Yeah,
they landed on their picks. They got Okoro, you know, they got what's his name? They traded from Brooklyn also. That worked out well for him. He's almost six
Ty
man.
Jerome.
Yeah, Ty
Yeah,
Jerome. And also, what's his name out of Brooklyn? Karis LeVert. He's like on one of the six mans
Levert's
of the
a
year
six man.
candidates. Yeah,
Oh, Dean Wade is another solid guy. They just
exactly.
have really good players, and I think
And,
that's what it is.
and also these guys could defend multiple
Yeah,
positions, man. That's the beauty of it all. They're
yeah.
defending
Oh,
multiple
they're a very
positions.
attractive team. They're a very attractive team. I think like they have a good amount of like veteran players who can really dictate, and like good amount of like unselfish players, and that's what you need at the end of the day. Because Donovan Mitchell himself, he's 27, so he's close to his prime. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have like solid young, like good young guys, along with like solid role players, and they're willing to kind of sacrifice their roles, and like veterans like even like Tristan Thompson, like let's be real, like he doesn't give a shit anymore that much. He's just collecting a check. So you have good voices in the locker room, and that's how you really build a team. And I think a lot of teams are noticing that. Like even Houston, they have like their signature veteran is Steven Adams.
Yep.
Oklahoma had it with like Mike Muscala for a few years.
Yep. Houston using that same formula, man. It's. I'm telling you, that's where Ken Whitmore. We were talking about it earlier. Ken Whitmore. That's where he's struggling with. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I can't get no minutes. Is because these teams have adapted the way they kind of built out their roster, man. And Cleveland is another beautiful example of a team on the come up, man. Sam.
yeah.
They also got what's his name? Like you said, Dean Wade. But you know what came through for them really is the Jarrett Allens, the Darius Garland, the
And
Karis
that Ben Simmons
LeVert.
trade.
Yeah,
The Ben
man.
Simmons trade came through for them because that fast forwarded their rebuild, and that made them comfortable enough to be like, that's I always like a team that takes a chance, and that's one thing I liked about Cleveland is they saw like a whole pivot. LeBron era's over, and you have like I think what at the time Sexton and you draft Garland, so you're like, you know what, let's kind of fast forward the rebuild and kind of see what we could do, right? And I believe they got Jared Allen, Karis LeVert off those trades, and I Torian Prince, and they made the most out of that move. And then you get obviously the chance to get Donovan Mitchell, you take it, and I think that's one thing you can never take away from Cleveland is they were they've thought ahead when it came to the rebuild, and they thought smart. They didn't like hesitate to make a move. Like
Mhm.
they knew that there's a chance Donovan could leave, but at the same time, they said, "Fuck it." Like, if he leaves, we're back to like square one. And now, like, they're a contender. So those kind of organizations I respect, like teams that are willing to take a chance. I think small markets kind of get like pressurized or whatever to not take a chance on superstars or star players. And like this team specifically, I'm like, you know what? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
like I'm happy they made it.
And that point exactly right there is what's hurting the larger market teams. Them not willing to take that risk anymore. Yeah, under these new CBA rules, that
smaller market, larger market, and smaller market.
Yeah, you get penalized for that.
Yeah,
you get penalized for that. And then the smaller markets, it's almost like their approach now is the A approach, and then the big market teams, them like trying to quickly find a fix and not go through a rebuild, that actually hurts you. You end up like the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah,
you end up like the Phoenix Suns.
You just get stuck.
Yeah, and it's so bad right now that even if you have a legacy player like KD, you can't even get out of it.
No, you're stuck.
You're just stuck, man. And also, kudos to the Cavs, man, sticking with Isaac Okoro, man. That is working out lovely for them.
You know, I was kind of scared. I'm like, dog, are they not re-signing? Because I actually liked him. He got drafted a little high, but he's solid. So I was like, what the hell's going on here? But I'm happy they did it.
Yeah, again, I just want to say the teams that in the league that kind of have this formula down pat is the Boston Celtics. That's at the high end. Then the Cavs, they're on the come up with that same formula. We see it work out this season perfectly for them. And then it's the Orlando Magic, the Pistons, the Oklahoma City Thunder, at the high end, and then the Houston Rockets,
You know, Memphis deserves their flowers. They done a good job too.
Memphis is using that same thing is working out for them also.
Yeah. I don't know why I always forget Memphis because for whatever reason, I always praise them, but I always forget they're young.
And I want to give I also want to state the Minnesota Timberwolves had this formula last season.
Yeah, but that Towns contract's crazy, and I think they could I think they'll move on from Julius Randle if I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I think they need to move on from Randle and just you got Anthony Edwards and you got Naz Reid and Gobert and figure it out from there.
So when you move off of Julius Randle, what are you really saying?
I'm saying you have to make a pivot.
No. What are you really saying? You're saying that basically the T-Wolves gave up Karl Anthony Towns for nothing.
For nothing.
So what does that mean though? What does that mean though?
Flexibility. It means that the second apron has ruined the idea of taking a chance. Like
I don't think it's that. I think it's them. I think the T-Wolves are actually not really in the business of winning like that.
No, they're not. A lot of small market teams aren't, and Minnesota isn't.
Yeah, they're not at all. Because if you look at how the hell you trade Towns away, right? Because let's say they kept Towns, right? They paid the tax. Towns is still valuable. Other teams are still going to want to trade for him, right? But you traded Towns after making the Western Conference Finals. LeBron James is on the downhill. Kawhi is not healthy. Luka.
Dallas is always questionable.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma City's on the rise, and it's like you just beat the defending champions, and it's like, okay, we're gonna just save money now. Like, come on, man.
And Denver's also on the decline. I don't know if you added that point.
Yeah, good point. Denver lost. Well, they're kind of on the decline because they're losing players. They're another team that didn't really want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Like they lost Bruce Brown, they lost KCP, they looked into Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, so it's these are interesting times, man. These are definitely interesting times. Have to make pivots. And speaking of pivot right here, Charles Barkley actually brought up a good point on the Lakers, how everything keeps changing around this team and they keep making excuses, but the only things that don't change is LeBron and AD. We're gonna check it out and then we'll chime in afterwards.
So you said as we began the night, Chuckster, as Dallas played without Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, this was all about the Lakers.
And the Lakers proved to what I keep saying. The Lakers stink, plain and simple. We have to talk about them because the media is infatuated with the Lakers. But the Lakers are not a good team. They got zero athletic ability. I mean, when you watch them, Jason Kidd coached a masterpiece tonight. We can go one-on-one, get any shot we want. They got a good shot every time. The Lakers could never keep them in front of them. this was a coaching masterpiece by Jason Kidd, because there's no way that team that the Mavs put out there, especially one winning by 20. You know what bothers me? Why I hate the Lakers?
What? Why?
Why do you hate the Lakers, Chuck? Tell us.
Why I hate the Lakers? It's always somebody else's fault. Remember 3 years ago, it was Russell Westbrook's fault. Then it was Frank Vogel's fault. Then it was D'Angelo Russell's fault. Then it was Darvin Ham's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. The Lakers they don't have, listen, LeBron is one of the all-time greats. AD is a hell of a player. That's it. The rest of the guys are just guys. Every team got those guys. And it bothers me. Listen, you don't always blame other people for your shortcomings.
But I don't know if other people have those guys, that means that they should be playing better, because
they don't have AD and LeBron.
But you got AD and LeBron. So my point is, it's got to do with style of play, got to do with
effort, Kenny.
Effort.
Yeah,
Come on, Kenny. This is the same thing we've been saying for 3 or 4 years. They blame Frank Vogel. They blame Darvin Ham. They fired both of those guys. Then remember it was Russell Westbrook a few years ago.
But I mean,
then last year was D'Angelo Russell.
Yo, that list is long as hell, man. I'm not gonna lie. That list is long as hell. But they do blame everybody. They do blame everybody.
That's always been Lakers' way, let's be honest, is really scapegoating shit.
But will Charles Barkley be allowed to talk like that on ESPN? Because that is low-key the LeBron James network.
No, of course not.
This is gonna be the inside the fucking TNT show, man. The inside the NBA. This is gonna be interesting on that network, yo. It's gonna be super interesting. They're gonna be talking so much smack. I don't know if it's gonna be Disney friendly.
Oh, they got bought by ESPN? Or their licensing's on ESPN now, or what?
Yeah, their license. It's still a TNT show, but it's gonna be on ESPN.
Oh wow! So you're gonna get I wouldn't be surprised you see a Stephen A. Smith collaboration.
You know what? From what I've heard, Stephen A. Smith and them got nothing to do with it, bro. Like they want that to be a whole separate thing.
Really? So they're competing with themselves?
No, you know what it is? It's almost like ESPN has never liked their shows around the NBA. So them going out to buy it, it is what it is.
Bro, but Steven he's the face of he's the face of the channel since what, 2015?
No. What I'm saying is Stephen A. Smith, what it is, he's probably the face of the channel for all sports, but them actually having an NBA show on their network has never been good.
Oh, they're not happy. They always change personnel.
Yeah. So now they avoided that. Now they have their show.
Yeah, they're. Let's see what happens, because now Amazon's on the rise and they brought new faces.
Yeah, Amazon is on the rise.
They got Blake and they got Dirk, so it's gonna be interesting. And now conversating in the NBA, and they'll have more freedom than Disney, so it'll be interesting on how the shit goes over there.
Mm-hmm. But you notice how Charles Barkley talked about they blame Westbrook.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that earlier, how they dragged his reputation almost to the ground. And I've always thought that right there actually has hurt the Lakers' chances of getting free agents.
Oh, 100%. Bro, but the Lakers knew what they signed up for. You know what you sign up with when you play with LeBron. Guys have to change their game, you know. Chris Bosh was an inside player, and he had to change his game into be much more of a defensive rim protector, center, full on, stretch the floor kind of guy. Kevin Love had to become a pure stretch four where he's in the corner shooting threes. The league with LeBron, your game changes, especially if you're the third option. And I don't know why people are just catching on to that now, as of late, or the media is just catching on to it now. I always felt that way, watching LeBron and the championship runs. Is you need to play a certain way with LeBron.
Mm-hmm. Now,
the game is gonna go a lot slower. He's gonna have the ball 99.9% of the time, so you have to accept, you have to accept the fact that you're not getting your touches all the time, or you're not gonna be able to create unless you're obviously Kyrie Irving or Dwayne Wade. Even Dwayne Wade, he was on the decline, so it was a lot easier for LeBron to be that sole player. And Kyrie, you get the 40 to 50% responsibility as a ball handler, and you're a good off-ball player, so that benefits you. But you look at the third options throughout the Lakers' time, right? I think Obviously, we see Russell Westbrook, his play kind of declined. Chris Bosh had to take on new responsibilities, which turned him into a Hall of Fame player, so I'm not going to shit on it all that much. You look at Kevin Love, his role kind of deteriorated, and like you could tell it really affected him in the start of his Cleveland term. Kyle Kuzma left. Kyle Kuzma wanted that Washington trade because he wanted to be a bigger player. So it's a lot of sacrifices a lot of people don't like to discuss. Oh, a lot of people don't want to discuss that kind of like the sacrifices in your game, especially when you're playing with LeBron. Like it's huge.
Yeah, it is a large sacrifice.
And there's a lot of like examples. Russell Westbrook isn't the first one. Like,
nope.
I think, did you hear me when I brought up like Kevin Love,
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma, and those guys?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Jay Crowder. There's a lot of guys, man. It's a lot.
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas is another one.
Yeah.
What's it? Rodney Hood. Remember Jordan Clarkson was in Cleveland. None of those guys got burned, and those guys were cooking where they were at.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those guys had issues with playing with LeBron. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
It's not easy. It's a more responsibility. I think the only player that really suits LeBron is Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis and like a real catch and shoot. A Klay Thompson would too.
A Klay Thompson would, yes.
Yeah.
Because those guys don't demand the ball.
Yep. Klay doesn't really dribble. Like LeBron could do all the dribbling. But yeah, like if LeBron has all the responsibility on the Lakers, then he has to get the blame. But like Charles Barkley said, we've seen the blame keep getting shifted. Yeah, so the most disappointing players this season so far. Man, this is gonna be an interesting list right here. I got Jimmy Butler, man, for the Miami Heat.
Really?
Yeah, like beyond the fiasco, man, it's like, what are the real expectations of the Heat nowadays?
No, I'm gonna be honest. This might sound crazy, but I didn't have that crazy expectations for Miami, bro.
Yeah, nobody did. So it's like, that's why it's real disappointing. It's like, his usage is down, his scoring is overall down. He's almost like in that Paul George phase. But except, he's in a contract year. Usually, this is when players
Jimmy
turn
regular
up.
season has always been like this.
Say that again?
Jimmy regular season has been like this for the past few seasons.
Oh, wow, yeah. Tyler Hero's actually carrying this team right now.
No, Hero's an all-star this year. I don't know if you had him on the list of future all-stars, but he's an all-star this year.
Yeah, I did have him on that list. Yeah, Hero averaging 24 a game. Yeah, Jimmy's really been a disappointment, bro. 17 points a game on 30 minutes. Come on, bro.
You have the big man in this conversation too?
Bam? Yeah, Bam has been. Yeah, I did
He's
also.
a disappointment because I actually had him. I actually thought he'd be like at least like close to a superstar.
Yeah, he's even his defense, man. He's actually averaging below 50% on twos, man. He's actually he's struggling.
Yeah.
Bam is actually struggling this season. DeJounte Murray is another one. People thought he'd be a lot better than what he is in New Orleans right now.
I think people like the idea of DeJounte Murray more than the actual product.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because like people think, he's just some lockdown defender. He's just good. Like that's the thing. I think the Spurs maximized him and they traded him for a reason. He's just solid. I think the whole DeJounte Murray aura has kind of run its course. And I think last season you had like 1 or 2 months of good basketball.
Yeah, he's averaging 16 a game. What's his minutes? Yeah, 16 a game on 33 minutes played. Man, his assist is not bad. 7 assists a game though. But then again, who's really handling the rock for them like that?
Yeah, I mean, just like like I said, he's solid in every field. I'm not gonna take that away from him. He's a good player, but people kind of buy into the idea more than the player himself.
Yeah, and they traded a lot for him too, man. That's the most disappointing part. They traded Larry Nance, a 2025 Lakers first round pick, Dyson Daniels, and either the Bucks or their own 2027 first round pick. So that's a lot they
Yeah, he
gave up
paid
for
a
Murray.
couple of draft picks.
Yeah, they gave up a lot for
Yeah.
Murray just for him to be averaging 16 and 7.
Yeah, that is. I think they had a different idea of a healthy Ingram and Zion, which I don't know how sustainable that would have been, but
Yeah.
obviously, like it didn't work out since both of the stars are very injury prone. So
Yeah, and then the Dyson
so
Daniels
much for
part,
that.
Dyson Daniels part make it even worse because
Because
this
he's
guy's
hooping.
averaging like fucking 25
Well,
steals
he's a
in 5
defensive
games.
player of the year candidate. Yeah, he's a defensive player of the year candidate. So
Yeah.
that kind of shit burns you in the ass.
Jamal Murray. I got Jamal Murray also.
Yeah, for his contract extension and how he's played, yeah, he's been a disappointment.
Jamal Murray, I don't know, man. What do you think is going on with the guy, man?
Injuries, I think recovering from injuries is what's going on with Jamal Murray.
Was he ever in shape before the injuries?
The bubble, he was incredible.
No, I'm talking about during like the Olympics, because people were saying he didn't look in shape.
Yeah, but
because sometimes that adds to your injuries too.
But that April injury really fucked him, no?
Yeah, but he showed up for the Olympics. Why show up?
Yeah, maybe a lack of an offseason with an injury-prone player. There's accountability on him, and I don't know if Murray's that playoff player. I think he's a little overrated in the playoffs. I'm gonna be quite frank.
Yeah, Jamal Murray right now, he's
like even the Lakers series, it was more of a Jokic where Murray had a couple games where he was cool closing out.
Yeah, but you know what?
We watched that series. Like it should have been a blowout.
But they don't need him to be great though.
They don't, but you still need a strong second option.
Yeah, you don't need him to be great, but yeah. But that's how good Jokic has been.
Yeah. Who else do you have on the list? You have Chris Middleton?
I got Devin Booker in here. Let me see Devin Booker.
Devin Booker is a disappointment. I thought he'd be a star by now, like a superstar at this point. Like the guy who takes the Suns' reign and kind of forces Kevin Durant to be a second option.
Yeah, Devin Booker, you know, his numbers are not bad, but it's like, you know, they're not. It's almost like the Suns are not elevating the way people expect.
I also have him in the same category as people who really buy into the Devin Booker idea more than what he is. I think he's a fringe star, but he's not like. I don't view him at the same level of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
Yo, but he's shown flashes of it though.
Yeah, 2021 he has, but I think with the current product, with what he is right now, I don't have him at that level. If that makes sense.
Do you think it's because of that? Because of the fit, what's going on right now? It's too clunky. You have too many guys with the same skill set. Everybody got to play extra hard on defense because you don't really have good defenders. You know,
I think a little bit of it's peaked. He peaked a lot. He peaked early with the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks Phoenix Suns because that was his first playoff peak, right? After that, you kind of see him you finally see the little bit of weaknesses in his game with Booker. But I think Booker overall as a player, really good. I think he's like a B+ to A- tier player. But I think a lot of people buy into like a solid A or A+ player. I don't really buy into that.
I gotta admit, there's been a drop off, but man, I thought he could get up to the A level. Did you see that game when he eliminated?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Lakers?
right? Like he's a guy.
But I'm gonna give you an example. Remember that game that he eliminated the Lakers in 2021?
Yeah. He was crazy.
He went off, man. He went off so crazy. LeBron was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do a jersey swap with Booker, even though Booker never asked me for one."
Bro, Booker was awesome that playoff series, but since then you saw the Nuggets and Dallas, like he's crumbled, and it's fine. You know, obviously he's a lot younger, but now as he's entering his prime, right, the conversation changes, and for me, it's like, you know, like the 2015 draft was cool, and I do view him as like him and Carl. Really, I view Karl Anthony Towns and him as the best two players in that draft. Obviously, I think I give the edge up to Towns. But that could be a recency bias. But I think with him, right, I just think he's a solid B+ player. He's a solid B+ player and at times an A- player. But I think the whole idea of him being in that category with Luka, with Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, it's above his pay grade.
It's a fair point. I've heard someone bring that up before. They're like they wasn't sure if he's like a star, but 2021 he was given a good fight. It's a good argument for
Yeah,
that. But now, yeah,
2021 he was an A- player. That's why I said he's shown flashes of being an A- player, but I cannot put him as like I cannot put him with other A- players like Anthony Edwards and those players I just named. I just can't.
okay. So now the Indiana Pacers. I got Tyrese
Oh, Miles
Halliburton in here.
Halliburton's a disappointment. Miles Turner's a disappointment too.
But Halliburton, the Pacers have started to get hot as of late. But the only thing is that sometimes you don't know what's the floor for Tyrese, man. You don't really know like what's the low.
His shooting's been a struggle.
Yeah, because okay, so check it out. Like against Golden State, he had 25, right? 25 and 10. But then, against the Cavs, he had 2 points.
Yeah. Yeah, his shooting's been a struggle, and I think that's the thing with Tyrese Halliburton is you can give him all the elite role players in the world, right? But as long as your franchise player cannot hit shots when games get tough, it doesn't matter. Like Pascal Siakam is great. I like Pascal Siakam on the team, but like I said, bro, you still need your best player to hit his shots.
Let me ask you a question. Was that expectation way too high though?
Oh, 100%. Because like I said, bro, you re-signed Pascal. He's your second star. You re-signed. You brought in like obviously Halliburton and Mathurin is back, and Miles Turner. I think Miles get an extension in the regular season or in the off season? So it was expected of him. It was expected the Pacers to be a really good team, right? Like to be a top 3, top 5 team, and it seems like Halliburton when the season started and Olympics after all that stuff, like. He's kind of taking a back turn where at this point, like, I don't even know if you rate him higher than like LaMelo Ball, for example. Do you even rate him higher than Cade Cunningham? Like, you'd sound stupid at
No
this
way.
point.
Because here's my issue with Tyrese, and it's always been this. He does not even dribble the ball in tight spaces. Tyrese, I feel like the expectation was falsely put on him. I don't know if the league was trying to promote him, but his player archetype is a pass first player. He's supposed to set like another shooter, like Bradley Beal. Tyrese is the type of player to set Bradley Beal up to get 40 points, and Tyrese would have 20 assists.
He's a second or third option,
10
man.
points.
Yeah, he's a second or third option, but he's not a first. And I'm gonna be honest, like last year, if they didn't make that trade for Siakam, you would have saw a huge drop in the Indiana Pacers.
Yo, you know what
Like
he
that?
is? He's basically Lonzo Ball, with like what everyone expects him as far as playmaking, except he has a 3-point shot and he can't play defense. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah, that's not sustainable.
Yeah, but no, it's not sustainable as a 1A. But again, look at Tyrese every time he tries to dribble in tight spaces. He picks the ball up, he jumps, and he passes every single time.
But I think the media loves the idea of Tyrese Halliburton than what he actually is.
They do. They've over promoted him. There was like everyone could see it, man. Like last season in the beginning, they over promoted dude. They even put him in the Olympics. I
give Siakam more of his flowers when it came to Indiana Pacers last year. To be honest with you, he had his best postseason. And you look at it, if he didn't get traded to the Indiana Pacers, they would have been a play-in team and possibly miss it altogether. Because they were kind of like they had a tough midseason before that trade.
Yeah, and then peep this with Tyrese, right? They haven't won a road game in over a month during the season.
No, they're just they're just a home team, and that's not sustainable. When being a home team is not a sustainable thing. Like I said, you put Tyrese Halliburton, I put the whole Indiana Pacers in that category.
Yeah, but they like to play fast. But this season it seems like teams have slowed them down in that transition.
The Knicks can slow them down.
The Knicks really they're one of the worst teams in transition. It's just I don't know what it is. Unless they're getting like their offense going in transition.
Yeah,
it's a different team, man. And like I said, last season they've over
what I mean by
Tyrese.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Knicks can slow him down in the half court setting. The only person like Siakam is the most comfortable I'm with creating for himself in the half court setting, or Benedict Mathurin. I'm comfortable with him setting himself up in the half court setting. I'm not that comfortable with like Halliburton, for example.
Yeah, Tyrese is bugging, man. He's averaging 18 points a game,
Yeah.
8 assists, which is not bad with the assisting, but 44% from the field. That is not a max player, man. That is not that's a third option, right? That's matter of fact, Pascal is probably at this point, they're not gonna say it. He's probably a better option. He's shooting 52% from the field, averaging 19, 7, and 3, and he plays better defense.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's like they're stuck with two number 2 options or number 3 options.
Siakam is criminally underrated.
Yeah, to be honest with you, they're kind of stuck with 2 number 3 options on this team.
Yeah, exactly.
But the league last year, man, I'm telling you, I don't know, because they made the the in-season tournament. I don't know, but they over promoted Tyrese, man. It was such an over promotion. He didn't do shit in the middle of last season. Like after that beginning phase wore off, the Pacers went quiet, bro. And then he got DMPs in the Olympics too. They put him on the Olympic team. I'm telling you, it was like a rush to promote him.
Oh yeah, I think they wanted the Midtown team for whatever reason they wanted to promote, and obviously they made it all the way to the play-in bubble. But they don't look after the play-in bubble. The Pacers struggled to the point where they had to make that Pascal Siakam gamble.
Yeah, they did everything but put a fucking Bible in front of Tyrese Halliburton's hands.
Yeah,
try to use him like KD.
Like, hey, he's King Arthur. It's like, hey, Arthur kind of character, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They have they've introduced his parents. They did a lot of shit. And then last season was also the All-Star game in Indiana, right? It was in Indiana. I'm telling you,
he had a crazy game.
I'm telling you, it was fucking planned. They planned it, man, and it worked out perfect. He made the in-season tournament, so they over-promoted him to promote the All-Star game in Indiana. Come see Tyrese, and then they put him on the Olympic team. It was like a whole run they had for this guy, and he's not the guy they should be promoting, to be honest with you. He's not really the guy. He's not gonna move the needle for them. He has a good image, but he's not gonna move the needle for the NBA. Not at all.
Who else can you say has been disappointing?
Who else you said disappointing?
Yeah. I mean, obviously Zion's in there, but we already talked about him a gajillion times.
In a way, De'Aaron Fox.
Bro, he's having a crazy season.
De'Aaron Fox, let me check that, because
he had the whole month of
bad, bro.
Yeah, but he dominated the whole month of November, dog. Like, he had a crazy 50 ball in the middle of the month, I believe.
In a way, man, yeah, you're gonna have to say De'Aaron Fox, not because
you think he's a disappointment.
Yeah, not because his individual performance, bro. It's like the way he's supposed to be the carrier of the team. They've lost pretty consistently from November from the start of the season all the way up into this winning streak with Doug Christie. They've lost. If you look at it, that's why that's why it's kind of disappointing with him. They've lost consistently, bro. There's nothing but L's and a few W's here.
What about Scoot?
Scoot, we didn't really have no expectations of him. Not like De'Aaron. De'Aaron actually has expectations.
Yeah.
It's like they took Golden State to 7 games, and then there was nothing after that. It was nothing but downhill.
And who else could I think of has been a disappointment?
I don't want to put it all on him, but it's like, damn, bro. The team is not really where it's supposed to be at.
Oh, you talking about Fox?
Yeah, the team overall. It's because if you're the leader, and the team overall has been struggling for the whole season, bro. The whole season. No wonder they fired the coach.
Oh yeah, it made perfect sense why they fired the coach.
Yeah, there was no consistency.
They had to do something. Julius Randle.
Yeah, but did he really have that expectation?
I mean, you have big shoes to fill. You're an all-star. You have expectations.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of us are capping about the expectations for the Minnesota Timberwolves this season. I don't think it was ever realistic. I think it was like a pipe dream, man. Like,
no, but I do think like Julius Randle, for his caliber player, could play a lot better.
Really, man? Like really, like they think about it. A team traded Karl Anthony Towns away for Julius Randle, bro. That sounds like it sounds like that team is trying to downgrade.
No, it's a downgrade, right? But Randall himself, as a second option, could play a lot better because Randall is a good, like, he's a top 3 option on a championship team if we're keeping it real.
He could play a lot better, but it's like the fit, everything in Minnesota is just. It looks like
I know what you mean,
turn.
bro. It's like trading a pencil for an iPhone. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
But you know what? You know what? It could work. All they need to do is get a point guard.
Yeah, point guard. Maybe, like, I don't know. It's hard with Randall, but Randall, he's kind of stuck in a tough situation. I feel like
but you know what
him
could
not
fix
getting
it?
along with.
You know what could fix it? If they called San Antonio and gave him made a swap Conley for CP3, I could see it working out a lot better.
Bro, but I don't know Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul purposely went to San Antonio, bro. That guy does not care to compete. He wants to be a coach. Like, I think Chris Paul, after he's done with the NBA, is going coaching.
Okay.
So I think the San Antonio Spurs is his way of like doing more of a coaching kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, prop up Devin Vassell and Sam Castle, play solid minutes, have a decent season, and call it game. What about Kyle Lowry?
No. Like, this list is for players who actually have expectations.
Oh, okay. Not just because I'm like, Kyle Lowry for his role fucking sucks.
Yeah, no, he's been like that since last season, but he doesn't have any real expectation. I'm talking about like real players in the league that have real. Paul George has been, man, it's. But let me ask you a question: was it unrealistic for us to have expectations, really?
No, yeah, I think it's realistic for us to have Paul George expectations, bro.
To do what on that team?
Let's be honest. We love the concept of Paul George.
We do, but let me ask you a question. What was the expectation of him in Philly? Was he supposed to be the second option?
Second, at times first option if Embiid's not available.
That's crazy. I think that's a tough ask.
I mean, yeah, because he's always injury prone.
It's not even that. I would say in the last 3 years, at least two of the years, he was horrible in the playoffs, including last season.
The only one he had good was 2022, I like to say, when they faced the Phoenix Suns in the conference finals, where Paul George turned it up.
Yeah, man, it's not been good, man. I don't think that was even realistic.
No, it's not the right move, but that was the expectations of Paul George. And like I said, people love the idea of Paul George throughout his career.
Yeah.
I can't. But let's be honest. People wanted Paul George to be in that conversation with Kawhi, LeBron, and Durant.
They did, but it never reached up to that. You know when that conversation really died? It died. I don't know if it was after the leg injury. Like, it just died once Indiana was going nowhere, and then he went to OKC, and then they went nowhere. That conversation was pretty much dead, man.
Yeah, but he had a moment with the PG MVP thing.
Yeah, but that was only like 2 seasons. Those going up against LeBron.
It was 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really short lived, man. People just have a long memory with that.
Oh, people love that shit. People are so attached to that whole PG MVP.
But you know what it is? It's how most people were introduced to PG. PG wasn't a top pick. Like, most people, when they got to know him, he was balling. Like, when he popped out, like, in front of like the whole NBA world, yeah, he was popping. He went to the conference finals. He had that dunk against Miami.
Yeah, and people love that he peaked like top 3 MVP too.
Mm-hmm. And also the league needed a superhero. LeBron was the villain. He looked like the guy that was going to take down the villain.
Yeah.
So like a lot of love for PG really comes from there. But other than that, we have no other evidence of like
him ever being at that level.
Yeah, but we did have that one good season in OKC. He was killing.
Yeah, I'm talking MVPG. That's the only like 5 minutes of like conversation you could have.
Wait, you're talking about that OKC season?
Yeah, I'm talking 2019.
Oh, I was talking about like when he was going up against LeBron in the playoffs back-to-back seasons.
Oh, you're talking Indiana then?
Yeah, Indiana also not, but you're right. He had the OKC time, and he wasn't an MVP at the time, but he looked like the hero to take down the villain because he dunked. He had that crazy dunk against Miami.
Because he was a young prospect, right?
Yeah.
And like Lance Stevenson was like kind of like a mean player, but he was a hustle guy. Roy Hibbert was a star.
Yeah, he was. And like I said, in the NBA, it's how the audience gets introduced to a player. It's how they always remember him, no matter what happens after.
But
Like,
I think Devin Booker's Devin's gonna benefit from that.
Yeah, like look at Jeremy Lin. Most people got introduced to him when he was balling out. Even afterwards, he was clearly not balling out and was never gonna ball out again. People still were in love with the idea of how they first seen him.
Yeah.
And
100%.
And I think PG has the same effect. Most people really got to see PG when he was balling out, going, having the tough playoff battles with LeBron, and then people remember him as almost a hero because everybody was cheering against Miami.
Well, I could also make the same argument for Devin Booker.
How so?
I think people love the idea of Devin Booker more than the actual like product and what he's produced.
Oh yeah.
But I don't view Devin Booker the same category as Luka and Tatum and even Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards. I don't view him in the same category.
Wow, you think he's a step below those guys?
Oh, 100%.
That's
like Devin had cool, like Paul
hierarchy.
George is MVPG, but like MVPG is a 2-minute conversation with Kawhi winning Finals MVP, with LeBron doing his thing, and Kevin Durant doing his thing. Like it's hard. Like okay, yeah, you can maybe have a 2-minute conversation with 2021, but after that, you see Tatum win Finals. You see obviously, what's his name again? Luka making deep playoff runs. You're watching Jalen win MVP, Finals MVP. Anthony Edwards making like deep playoff runs. Where does that leave Devin Booker?
I have no. Whew. That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Did you see Wemby after the Christmas Day game actually acknowledge like how the Spurs are not quite have the good pieces around him yet to actually close out some of these games?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wemby. I'm telling you, man, Wemby's slowly putting pressure on the Spurs to act now. He's slowly.
Yeah, but I don't know. Wemby should look around the league, right, and kind of see like long term rebuilds more ideal as compared to like short-term rebuilds. If I'm gonna be honest, like
yeah, but he's not really looking for a short-term rebuild. They could keep the guys that they have now, but they have more than enough assets to at least get one polished player. They got four. They got 4 first-round picks in this year's draft potential. So it's like, what are they really waiting on?
Oh, who would be ideal in your heart?
I don't know. Yeah, but before we get to that, I'm gonna figure it out. But before we get to that, let's hear what Wemby had to say on
all right
after his Christmas Day matchup. Because I'm telling you, he's speaking to the Spurs front office. He's letting them know he's ready for at least one little splash. It ain't got to be nothing crazy. You don't have to trade the whole house, but one little splash.
I'm thinking about the game right now and just thinking we're close, but we lack some attributes at times, and but we were right there. It was a really disputed game. I don't think it was a game about momentum. I think it was a game about being dogs when the clock starts going down, under 5 minutes, under 3 minutes. We let them get some rebounds on us. We let them move us a little too much. So this is more what it was about. It didn't win against us because they played better basketball. Not at all.
That motherfucker confident as hell, man. Oh, man. They don't really have the personnel to close out games. And he questioned their heart. Man, Wemby, man, something else, bro. He really
questioned out his teammates' heart?
Yeah, no, he questioned out if they're dogs, man. He's like, we really don't have the dog in us to close out these games.
Yeah, I agree. They don't have the talent to close out games. Is that they lost
No,
to
not
the
even
Knicks?
that. He questioned the talent and the dog in them to
Mm.
actually mentally. I don't know. Who knows what he's talking about? If he's talking about mentally or just like physically to close out the game, because the matchup, the Christmas Day matchup against the Knicks, they controlled the whole game until the very end. It's like they
Yeah.
completely unfolded. But Wemby killed, man. Wemby had 40 points, 20 rebounds, shot 59% from the field, 7 assists.
Yeah.
He did everything. But again, is he applying pressure, man? Because now Pop, I don't know if Pop is gonna come back, but do you think he's slowly
I think
applying pressure?
I think this new I think the Spurs are kind of headed towards a new coaching, like new culture of a new head coach now with this guy. I don't know his name exactly, but he's an extremely young guy. So let's see what goes on from that. Obviously, new front office. RC, I think Buford has been gone for a while. So it's a new guy in the Spurs. They've been a competent franchise since forever. Oh, I do wonder how soon they'll build a competent team around Victor Wembanyama. You know, obviously with De'Aaron Fox being in like question to become like a key free agency, right? I could see the Spurs making a bid for him. Is all I can say.
Now,
And it's plausible.
the only
Yeah.
thing I would say is that have we ever seen the Spurs adapt to this new landscape? They never had the pressure of like, okay, let's just at least go
No,
out
they
and
did.
get
They
one
had the
piece.
pressure. They failed.
Yeah, we've never really seen them like go out there and like, okay, we got to spend the bag on this person, on this one person to put around Wemby to take us up to the next level. Because at least like going into this offseason with them potentially having 4 first-round picks, we at least need to see them take a step up, like hop into the next tier of that Western Conference, which is going to be a hell of a tier in itself, because it might be the Lakers swimming in that pool with the Lakers, the Sacramento Kings, and also what team is that? The Lakers, Sacramento Kings, and also there's another team swimming in that pool, the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are going to be swimming in that pool. So are they going to make the necessary moves to make sure that they're in that fringe 6 seed all the way up until 8 seed?
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to say, man.
Yeah, because it looks like the moves they're making, if they're going to keep those those first round picks going into next summer, they're going to be swimming in the same pool again of just like,
Yeah, no, they can't. They
they're
can't
winning
come
some
into
games,
the third.
but they're like a 10th seed.
Yeah, they can't come into the third season of Victor Wembanyama as that kind of mindset. Because I'm gonna be honest, I think like Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul, they're good additions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, like I can count in my fingers how long they have in the NBA.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I seen this past offseason moves by the San Antonio Spurs, and I'm just like, that's very, it's good. It's
Too
an upgrade,
conservative.
but it's like it's not really. It's like, man, I got Wemby, man. I could make a little more noise than that. You guys have a lot of cap space. You can make a little more noise than that.
Like, let's be honest, like Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, they're trying to see if they could actually coach a team. Let's keep it real.
That's what it looks like. But the Spurs, to me, they just have so much cap space, so much flexibility. You have those future first round picks. You don't want to start taking, you don't have to cash in all 4 of them. My question is, are they going to be willing to, deal some of those? You got Vessel on the team. You got other assets on the team. You got Johnson coming off the bench. Are you going to...
Oh, Calvin's a disappointment. I'm not going to lie to you, man.
So if he is, are they going to maybe, even if they have to attach a first round pick and get rid of him and get another piece that's sort of like in the middle, like probably age 26, that can help you?
Yeah, they should. And like Zach Collins been a disappointment too when they got him young. Like got him 24, he's 27, he's not in the rotation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have a lot of answers, a lot of holes to like fill in. And I think the Spurs I think Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul do a good job in making them a lot more competitive. But when you look at the younger, the whole young team and the whole young product is not that hot, if we're being frank.
Yeah, it's not all that. And also, again, they have a lot of guys under like rookie, scale contracts. You have Castle. He's going to be on a good deal for 3 more years. You got Wemby still on a good deal. So it's like, if you could get a star and give him money for 2 seasons before these guys' new deals kick in.
And you're kind of banking on Vassell got paid big. So the whole thing with Vassell is a paid of potential. So you're kind of banking on him to really pay off.
But the Vassell money, it wasn't really crazy compared to.
No, it isn't crazy, but you look at his production to him, like, is a gamble. Because under 60 million, that's someone you're like. How much did Green get paid with all the Rockets?
Yeah, but Green got paid that same money for 2 years.
Yeah,
but Vassell got that money in a 5-year span. He's under a good deal. Like
that affords him flexibility.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'll tell you the numbers right now. It's gonna be 29 this season, then 27, 27, 24, and 27. Which is, remember, the cap is gonna keep going up. So he's under a good deal. He's under a good deal, especially going into by the time it's 2026, his 27 mil is nothing. Because again, remember, guys like Emmanuel Quickly, they get paid $35 million. So you got a guy like Vassell, if you look at, his skill set, his size, the potential, that's not a bad number.
So outside of Fox, who do you see like a perfect player for this team?
For the San Antonio Spurs?
Yes.
A guy, a small forward that's a shooter.
Small forward that's a shooter.
Small forward that's a shooter, and if I'm not, wait, hold on. Also, I'm not sure what's their plans with Castle. If they're gonna make him a full-time point guard, if they're gonna make him the shooting guard, then they need to get a ball handler who can pass.
Yeah.
Who can get Wemby the ball in the post or in his spots. Wemby doesn't have to be making these crazy passes and kind of sometimes having these careless turnovers.
So who are we talking, like Cam Johnson?
Ooh, Cam Johnson. If Cam Johnson could shoot, Cam Johnson would be perfect.
For Cam Johnson. What other wing do we have? Dorian Finney-Smith's obviously off the books.
It would have to be like again, I don't know what's their plans. If Steven Castle is going to be their shooting guard, if they want to put him at the 2, he's 6'6". They could possibly put him at the 2.
Yeah.
He's 6'6" and can handle the rock. So if they want to get like another more polished point guard to kind of wheel him in, to get Wemby the ball in his spots, everyone the ball. Because the Spurs, they kind of suck at passing.
And what about Zach LaVine?
Zach LaVine wouldn't work. He wouldn't work. He's sort of like a combo guard.
Because there's not many forwards I can really think of, man, besides like Cam Johnson.
There's really not. Yo, to be honest with you, imagine if Spencer Dinwiddie could pass. He would be someone that they would need. Like, but he can't do that. Oh, you know, if a guy like Fred VanVleet for 2 seasons would be ideal.
Yeah, that would be ideal because he sets up your plays.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Rockets would probably look to move him eventually, though, and that's a positive for the Spurs.
Even a guy like James Harden, if they want to borrow him for 2 seasons.
Yeah, that seems unlikely now.
Yeah, it seems unlikely now, but yeah, him, if they can get like the passing James Harden, he could still pass anyway. Because look what he's doing with Zubac. So
James Harden would love a player like Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, he would actually be a good fit.
What about Book if he's an option?
Nah, Book. Matter of fact, Book.
Because the Spurs will be like looking at Booker.
Yeah, Booker would be a good option for a shooting guard. Then they would have to get what's his name, Steven Castle, up to speed.
Yeah.
With the passing, they would have to get him up to speed. Maybe Booker might be a good option in 2027.
Yeah, because he's going to be available a lot sooner than we expect.
Yeah, I don't know if Malcolm Brogdon, I don't know what's his situation.
Bro, Brogdon would be a good one, but he's never healthy.
Yeah, he's never healthy.
And same with Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown's never healthy anymore.
Yeah, there's not too many guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about him, like, yo, Bruce Brown, like, that's a player that, like, a team would like to have, but he's never available, so, like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's really Fred VanVleet, to be honest with you. I'm looking at the free agent list right now. Unless somehow they can get Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, that's unlikely.
Yeah, that's unlikely.
Kyrie's
That's
still in
not a
Dallas.
San Antonio thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's not only that. I just don't see him like being available.
I see them
Unless
getting. I see them possibly getting Fred. If Fred comes in a good deal, 2 years.
No, Fred's not Fred. Fred got his expensive deal from Houston. He's not getting a second expensive contract.
Yeah, but he's gonna be 31 this offseason. So
what about my boy?
He's still in his prime.
What about Washington Wizards Jordan Poole?
Nah, he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit at all, man. To be honest with you, he just don't fit. His play style just don't fit. It's too jokey, man. It's not a serious.
I mean, let's say he trains. Let's say he goes back to Warriors, like Jordan Poole. He's on a competitive team, much more motivated.
Put it like
much
this.
more motivated.
Put it like this. Quentin Grimes fits better.
Quentin Grimes. Oh, okay, but he's probably not going to be available.
Quentin Grimes, Cam Thomas, Chris Middleton, Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, these guys are available. Josh Giddey. Well, no. Yeah, Josh Giddey is he wouldn't fit.
Josh Giddey's gonna get an extension.
But but he doesn't fit with the Spurs.
No. And Chicago's gonna give him an extension. That's why they brought him here to begin with.
Yeah, it's slim pickings, man, this offseason. I'm not gonna lie. Cause I'm looking at this sheet right now, and it's not too many starters and even stars available. The only superstar, quote unquote, that's available is Kyrie and LeBron. They can opt out, but that's rare that they'll move. And
yeah, I don't see Kyrie leaving Dallas.
Yeah, if you look at the rest of this shit, yeah, it's man. This I'm not gonna lie. This offseason is gonna be bleak.
Yeah, unless we get like Kevin Durant wanting out.
Yeah. But yeah, San Antonio, I don't know if it's a San Antonio way for them to sort of take their time with this and say, hey, let's just take 1 or 2 out of these 4 first-round picks and move them and get something more polished. That's all they got to do. But Wemby low-key slowly applying the pressure.
Yeah, it's good for him, man. I mean, dude, it's his future. He's young. And he's developed a lot quicker. I think that's what I was telling you, man. I feel like younger players develop a lot more quicker. Like I see Bencaro, I see Victor Wembanyama. I just see like quicker developed players.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see that in like the 2010s. Like, look how long it took Karl Anthony Towns, for example, to develop into a winning player. Devin Booker took him a while.
Yeah, the only thing that they're missing is experience.
Yeah, but those guys are playing against elite teams. Like Paulo took them to 7 games, and took Cleveland to 7 games. And you look at the Christmas game, like Victor Wembanyama tore up in the Madison Square Garden.
Man, this is these are interesting times. So with OKC, because we're seeing them kind of make national headlines. They're going up against the Cavs. They went up against the Knicks. They dominated. They also went up against the Celtics. Yeah, so they're making noise this season, but the only thing is that with all the future first-round picks they have, right, and pretty much their roster right now, from the first player to the 14th man, their contract is locked in. Are they going to be able to cash in on all these fucking picks, man? This is crazy, bro.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know what the hell they're going to do with all these picks. They're about to send a first-round pick to the G League. Like, what's going on?
And then eventually it's going to be useless. Like teams have the bargaining power at that point because they know like they're going to be desperate to move these guys around anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're kind of in a win-win situation if you're an organization that wants like to rebuild, right? You're in an ideal situation where you could like really force the team to play in and be like, all right, yeah, you need to get rid of these picks and we're rebuilding. So you're a shit deal and you got nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, after the Alex Caruso extension, they're almost near the luxury tax line. But it's crazy because, he was like one of their last players for them to actually lock in. But it's crazy with this team, right?
Yeah.
Is this going to be the first team in NBA history to have a bunch of first-round picks they're gonna be in desperation mode to dump them, and teams are gonna lowball them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like we never
exactly.
seen it like
Teams
this
are gonna
before.
lowball them because of the assets, and they could be the first team to like that could ever happen to. That's the craziest part.
Yeah, the teams are gonna lowball them, and it's like who they're gonna be able to take in return.
Nobody.
So wait, teams could be like instead of saying we'll give you like
We'll give you like salary release or whatever.
Nah, they can't even do salary. They can only do picks for picks. So teams could be like, we'll give you the first the top pick of the second round instead of like the 17th pick of the first round. They'll start lowballing them in order for them to move those picks.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It's gonna bite them in the ass, man. Oklahoma. The whole rebuild is fun, is great, but dude, that's one point you have to catch in your chips. And I think they're gonna do it a lot sooner than later, to be honest with you. Because Presti does have a reactionary kind of like the opportunity is hot, do it now kind of mentality. We saw with Paul George trade. So I'm not gonna count him out.
Yeah, Presti is a smart motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Presti.
So I don't really count him out in that regard, but I think he's gonna play it out to where hopefully he plays it out extremely well and everything goes well for Oklahoma. But Presti, the time's on the clock for them to kind of cash in on the values that they have, or else the values is kind of like just rotting in there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just gonna rot. Yeah.
They have so much fucking picks, man. Well, they don't actually have a lot like before, but they just have so many options, especially the second round picks. They have a lot of those.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys, a lot of their picks, they kind of traded around, right? I remember they drafted Quickly and then gave him to New York. They traded Sengun to Houston.
Yeah, man, OKC got a lot. Matter of fact,
so they've done a consistent job of moving around furniture, like Quickly and what was this? Sengun and even what's the one dude from Hornets, Ty Man, that just them moving furniture around.
Yeah, man, they got way too many first round picks that's not even theirs. They got swaps. Man, this is crazy. Like,
yeah, because they kept trading.
Yeah, this is nuts, and it's crazy because their second round picks is even more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. The NBA may have to make a documentary on this, like the first team to actually have to dump draft picks.
It's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah, but it's a good problem to have, though.
It is a good problem to have. It gives them a lot of breathing room, especially if because Chet Holmgren was very questionable so far when it comes to health.
This season they got Philadelphia's first round pick, and then they got Miami's first round pick swap.
Yeah.
With either them or the Rockets, or even the Clippers. They got so many options just for this season alone. It's pretty much it is what it is. Like all their players are locked in. They have a bunch of draft picks. Well, like I said, they might have to get rid of some.
Yeah, they're in a tough situation in regards to that.
All right, Syed, I appreciate you. You guys definitely check out Syed's Substack in the description below. Check it out. Dope articles. And Syed, I appreciate you, man. Until next time, peace.
Thank you, man. And subscribe to Orange Cookies.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.